Shalom, everyone. Those of you joining the YouTube version of this, you're going to go in 13 minutes from this point and start. We're going to start at 7:10. So, shalom, shalom. We'll just wait for everybody to get on here. How is everybody? There's nobody here yet, so we'll just wait. Hi, Heather. Hi, Everly. Everly, are you awake? Hello, hello, hello. Shalom, Jody. How are you, sweetie? Awesome, guys. Shalom, Stella. Shalom, shalom, everybody. How are you guys doing? And Stella, that was a good question earlier that you had about the two witnesses being female. They often, the translators had an agenda. And I don't remember where I saw the text that showed it was a feminine, but or where I heard that, but Shalom, Milagros Castañer Lopez. Okay, I'm so excited we're back to Isaiah. Yay! Yes, and we are in chapter 29. The Zoom today was wonderful. We went through Proverbs 31. I'll try to download that later and let you guys watch. Those of you who missed the Zoom today at 1 o'clock. I think some of you, just remember when I put out the schedule at the beginning of the week, you'll have to just write those on your calendars. Hi, Laura. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, Shirley. Hello, hello, everyone. Yahweh, please keep the connection strong tonight. Those of you just joining again, we're going to start in 12 minutes, the Bible study. Shalom, shalom, Darlene. We're going to start in 12 minutes for the Bible study, and we're going to be going through, continuing the book of Isaiah. Isn't it just beautiful how the whole word of Yahweh awakens the soul and is, I mean, how much do people miss by not reading the scriptures? Like, it's just crazy. Hi, hi, hi. Somebody, yeah, it's like, it's just so amazing. Hi, Randy. Hi, hi, hi. Shalom, shalom, everybody. We're going to be starting here in a minute. Hi, Hannah. You made it. Yay. Hi, Dan. Dan's my big brother. I love you, Dan. How you doing, hon? How are you? Shalom, shalom, Darlene. Hi, Kathy. Shalom, shalom. Hi, everybody. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm so tired. Did you guys have a busy day like I did? I literally just got in from doing chores at 13 minutes ago, feeding the cows. I'm scrubbing my face. I combed my hair. You might not be able to tell, but I did comb it. Hi, Anji. Hello, hello. Hi, Michelle. I'm new. Shalom. I went to college in Minnesota, so I lived there for 4 years, and I worked in Wisconsin sometimes in the summers with doing tree care. Wisconsin and Minnesota are beautiful. The winters, you poor people, it's so cold. I mean, I grew up in Montana, but we didn't have that humidity. Hi, John. Shalom. Oh, thank you. I always take that. Carissa, somebody the other day was mad at me, and they were like, may God open your eyes. I'm like, yes, please. May God make you humble. I'm like, yes, please. Anytime you're going to try to curse me with or be mad at me and say that kind of prayer, please do it. Just please, God, humble me and teach me his truth. If I'm wrong, I will gladly accept it. Okay. Hi, Jesse. Hi, hon. Hi, Christina. Hi, Kimberly. Howdy and shalom. Hi, Donna. I was going to text you today, Donna, and my day was so insanely crazy. Oh, thank you, Laura. You're so sweet. I know it looks bad. I went to bed with wet hair, so it went crunchy, crunchy, curly, and then you try to put it under a cap all day. So I don't care. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you. Shalom, shalom. Guys, we're going to wait 9 more minutes. 9 more minutes, and then we're going to start the reading of Isaiah. If you missed the Zoom today, it was really good, Proverbs 31. Proverbs 31 actually applies to men as well, because men and women are both called to be the bride of Messiah, Yeshua. And it's a beautiful picture of how do we, as Yahweh's people, represent him and treat him as the virtuous wife of Proverbs 31. So many people think it only applies to women, but they forget that men, you are to be the bride of Messiah as well. I know, it's sometimes hard probably for a man to think like that, but you are. Like the children of Israel, men and women together are supposed to be the bride of Israel. Hi, Romaine. Hi, Billy. Shalom, shalom. 9 more minutes. We're going to start the reading tonight. Hi, Angel. Hello, hello. Hi, Linda. We are going to be going through the book of Isaiah, continuing the book of Isaiah tonight. I think I got everything down here. I got in 14 minutes ago now from chores. Shalom, shalom. And so I've been literally running like, have you ever seen a chicken with its head cut off? Like, I butcher lots of chickens. I do all the butchering, usually all alone. So I'll butcher like, I'll do butcher like 10 to 15 at a time so I don't get overwhelmed. But if you've ever not seen a chicken run with its head cut off, you really need to. It's funny. We are the bride as well. Yes, men and women, exactly. That's a good Zoom. Sad I missed it. Kimberly, I'm going to download it, sweetie. It was a good Zoom. I'm going to download it because I did remember to record it after we did the prayers and some discussion at first, but I'm going to download it and put it on. I'll do it to YouTube first because I like that format better for sharing, and then I'll share it over there. Hi, Dale. Hi, Alex. Okay, just don't die, Alex. Please don't die. Don't make them dead. Don't make yourself dead. Stay eyes on the road. Hi, Audrey. Hi, Arthur. Shalom, shalom. Guys, we're going to be reading through Isaiah tonight. And I want to point out, for any of you who have been having, oh yeah, like I said, we went through Proverbs 31 today. I just opened up to it. It was so good. It was so good. I'll post it. One chase. Yes, I know, Donna. And then didn't he chase Carol? So Donna is my aunt. Does everybody know Donna Strassheim is my aunt? So we have lots of fun farm stories. My aunt, let's see. One chased me when we lived on the farm. Had to cut the head off in that chicken tea. Yep, that's so funny. And I think it happened. Hi, Jenny. I think it happened to Carol as well, which is so funny. Shalom, shalom, guys. 7 minutes, and we're going to start the reading. Shalom, shalom, Michelle. How do we find local people who think like this? You know what, Michelle, sometimes you just, like for me, if you can't tell, I don't have a problem talking. So when my son was little, I'd be at the park sharing with everybody about Torah. When I'd be at the YMCA, I'm sharing with everybody. When I'm at the grocery store, I'm sharing with everybody. So people would just like, one time I said to a man, it was Friday, and he walked into the gym. I said, Shalom, have a blessed Sabbath tonight. He goes, you too, you keep Sabbath? And then he started fellowshipping with us. I stayed at the gym one time. The Lord said, don't move, to stay here. And I was like, no, it's almost Sabbath. And I met this whole family that came to Torah. One funny story. Do you guys want a funny story? I'll tell you a funny story. I'm so sorry. 6 minutes till we start the study. So I was at this exercise class that I don't take. I am a runner. I'm an athlete. I don't do flu-flu like girly things. Like I'm not going to do, jump up on. Okay, I laugh at myself. It's funny. I'm not a girly girl. So the father tells me to share with this woman down in the gym. And I start sharing with her. And the father said, and then she's getting annoyed at me. You can tell she's visibly annoyed that I'm sharing about the Torah with her. But I'm like, Gabi keeps saying, keep sharing, keep sharing. I'm like, okay, this is not going well. And so I'm sharing and trying to be nice, but you can tell she's trying to walk away from me. And God keeps telling me, follow her. Then she goes upstairs. She has like this, they have those like that little plastic step box that some people walk, like, ooh, Jane Fonda type, let's go, And so they're like, she says she's going to an exercise class that's like this weird dance routine thing. Yavi says, follow her. And I'm like, ugh. So I'm like, first of all, the lady is giving me the vibes of she wants to kill me. She hates me. She's like, oh, you'll get away from me. And I'm having to follow her. Yavi says, follow her. And I'm like, oh, Father, this is so uncomfortable, but I know your voice and you told me to follow her. So I'm going to go to this exercise class, which is not me. It's like some choreographed weird step box thing or something. I don't know. Anyway, I get to the class and I'm thinking, you know what? Okay, guys, by the way, I'm going to interrupt my story. 5 minutes till we start the study. I'm thinking I will, since I have no idea what like step aerobics are or whatever they do, those step box aerobics, I'm going to be right at the front so that I can see the teacher. Thinking, good idea, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I just want to be able to follow her. Oh, no. They all knew the choreograph. They all knew. This is a class that had been going for like 10 weeks, and this was like week 9 of the class. Oh, I didn't know that. No, I didn't know anything. I'm just hearing the voice of Yahweh say, follow this lady who hates you. Follow her to this class. I'm like, oh. And now, this I am not a girly girl. I'm a basketball player, tough. I'll roll with you in the mud, like, punch it out type girl. I am like run, with the boys type. I played football with the boys. He's telling me I'm in this class that's like dancing on the step box thing. And I'm dying. My face, I'm not an embarrassed person. I was so embarrassed because thank God I'm a quick learner. I'm watching the steps and I'm choreographing. I'm feeling like a flu. I don't know. I should have had pink everywhere type thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. And I kept begging Father, can I just leave? Can I leave? And he goes, not yet. So class gets done, and being a Montana farm girl, I was raised, you don't leave, you help. So I'm like, I'm gonna help at least pick up. She has all this equipment, these whatever step things and this weird ball thing, this half a ball thing we were on. So I'm like helping her pick up, and all of a sudden they start talking about food. I said, well, the most important thing is that you eat biblically clean. Second is then make sure it's non-GMO. And she goes, what? I thought we could eat everything. We started a conversation for 3.5 hours. She came to I'm not joking. That's why I was in that class. So you share everywhere you go. All I did was share about the Torah. I shared about the food diet. Her eyes literally burst open. We spent 15 minutes in the gym, but we realized we both had children that we had to get home. And my husband was watching it for some reason. Anyway, so she came home and was at my house for 3 hours. So that was like a 15 minutes to 30 minutes conversation there. 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. And that day she came to obedience. And so my point is, if you're fishing, you're going to land some fish. But if you're being silent and you're not fishing, fish don't just jump out of the water. Fish. That's how you find where the people are. You find. Sometimes you can look at Psalm 119 Ministries. They have a location finder. But I'm not even on there. I haven't been on there for years, and I kept trying to put it on. They won't put me on. I don't know why. They say that I'm on there, but I can't see it. So I've tried to find it, and I'm like, but I don't see it. And there's well, it says you're on here. So it's not that they won't put me on. That was the wrong way to word it. Please forgive me. You just have to fish. Grocery stores. I found people who come to Torah at the grocery stores. I've shared with people at the grocery stores, and they just put their Valentine's cards and Easter things back on the shelf. They literally say, God says not to do this. I said, yep. I've seen them put their pagan stuff back on the shelf and walk away and go. I said, go read the Bible now. Anyway, 2 minutes till the study starts. So the only reason I shared that story is because I was so embarrassed. I so did not want to be in the exercise class. No. I'm like a weightlifter, pull-up girl, run lots of miles girl, athlete. I don't do step box aerobics. And I'm so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. But that was this beautiful girl, got saved. One day the father told me to drive to a health food store and invite the cashier to Sabbath. And I'm like, this is going to be very awkward. First of all, because I'm a woman, he's a man. I don't want it to seem, I'm married very happily for 20 years at that time. Now it's 26. I'm like, this is going to be awkward. But I knew the voice of God said, you go invite him to Sabbath. So I drive across town. So awkward. I get in the store and I'm like, I don't need anything at the store, but I find one bottle of spices to buy or something. So I didn't seem completely nincompoopy. And so then I get this bottle of spices and I get up to the counter. I said, hey, would you and your family like to come for Sabbath? And they did. He didn't even know what really the Sabbath was. And they started obeying that weekend. So you guys got to be fishing. You got to be fishing. You can't be, that was so embarrassing. Here I am, a woman, going to a man, saying, hey, okay, it's 7:10. It's time to start. Hi, Tristan. Okay, so, hello, everyone. Good, Michelle. Yahweh bless you. Yay. Yes, I bet it was scary, Donna. Okay, because guys, sorry if I missed some comments. My mom is Southern Baptist. When I try to talk to her about the Torah, etc., she gets real mad with me and tells me I'm going to hell. Ashley, you can say these words. The pathway to hell is not paved with the commandments of God. Otherwise, Satan would be in heaven and we would all be going to hell. Because Satan is the disobedient son. He is the lawless one. And the Antichrist comes and works for the lawless one. So if it was those who break the law that are saved and believe in Jesus, well, believe me, Satan believes in Jesus. Satan knows Yeshua is the Son of God. Satan knows Yeshua is the Son of God, and Satan purposefully disobeys the commandments of God. So if the pathway to heaven, the pathway to be with God, was disobedience, then Satan's going to be there, and all of us are screwed. Because not all of it, we haven't murdered today. Oops, we obeyed one of the commandments. We didn't commit adultery today. Oops, we obeyed another commandment. Right? You get what I'm saying. Yes, chicken is clean, hon. So you get what I'm saying, guys? The pathway to hell is not paved with the commandments of God. God did not write commandments that would send us to hell. And for obedience to the law, we will not go to hell. We will not go to hell for obeying the law of God. If we made up man-made rules like Judaism, we run a risk. We run a risk. If we disregard the law like Christianity, we run a risk. But if we obey in spirit and in truth, like the picture of the tabernacle shows, we aren't going to hell. for trying our hardest and for repenting from dead works. Oh, just like our Messiah told us to do. So the thing is, sweetie, religion sucks. So just like the religious Pharisees and Sadducees of yesteryear, they came against Messiah and the disciples because the religion blinded them. The Christians, and there's no Baptist gate going into heaven, by the way. No Lutheran gate going into heaven. No Methodist gate. There's the 12 tribes of Israel gates, right? So you better be grafted in, because if your religion is what you're stuck in, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem. Now, Thomas, do it. My husband and I have said that for years, for 20 years. We've said, I think actually my husband coined it. So say, hey, thanks, Jim Smith. My husband's also the one who coined, well, Hale Harris, I think we heard it from, theological gymnastics. They do theological gymnastics to try to prove there is no law, but they don't stand on their head long, do they? They fall. But the pathway to hell is not paved with the commandments of God. Yes, we need to fear our daddy. Okay, now I missed probably a question, but will you hit on the red heifers, please? Okay. Well, okay, let's do it at the end. Charlene, hold that thought, because I did tell the YouTube watchers that we're going to be going, and I'm 3 minutes late. Oh, slap my hand. Okay, Yahweh Elohim, let's pray, guys. I had to have more milk tonight, so I didn't just bring my measuring cup, and I wanted it to stay hot. I'm like scrambling. Oh, Yahweh Elohim, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I thank you so much. Please let us all fall madly in love with you. You are the most holy, wonderful thing. If we have nothing else but you, Yahweh, you are the air we breathe. You are the spirit inside of us. You are the very essence of anything good in the world. All we want, all we need is you. Father, please come and teach us tonight. Please heal us. Please help the afflicted. Please provide for those who need it. Please deliver those in bondage. Please, Yahweh, save your children for your name's sake. Thank you for caring. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your provision. Thank you for your love, even when we are so unrighteous and unholy. Thank you for the gift of your Son. Thank you for the gift of these feasts where we can learn to commemorate and learn about how to be holy and how to get over our sin. Yahweh Elohim, we bless your name. We praise you, and we ask that you would come and teach us this night. Thank you, Father. Take control. In the name of Yeshua, we ask. Amen. Okay, now, yes, the Christians of today are the Pharisees of yesterday. And so, Charlene, please keep that question in mind, sweetie, and let's touch on the red heifers. We can talk about that at the end. It is prophetic. We're going to have a third temple. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Okay, so we're in Isaiah 29. If you have missed the previous teachings, I think I got them all up there, but they're on the YouTube channel, but also under my videos here. So Facebook videos are a little harder, I think, than the YouTube. When I put them into YouTube, it's nice because you can pause it, you can speed it up. I don't know if you could understand me if you sped it up, because I do speak quickly. But if you wanted to, why not listen to an auctioneer for a night? So you can do that. Or if you slow it down, you know, you may need to slow it down, especially in the South. I talk northerner, very northern. I was literally born just a couple miles from the not very far from the Canadian border. So yeah, very north. So let's begin reading Isaiah 29, Yahweh take control. But my point is, I guess if you've missed the previous chapters that we've read through, they are posted on YouTube. And then if you need that link, let me know, message me privately, and I can send you the link to the YouTube video. Okay, so thank you all for answering questions, because I'm not going to be answering questions now. At the end of the chapter, remember, I pause and look up. Woe to Ariel, that is Jerusalem. This is what they're calling Jerusalem here. Ariel, the city where David dwelt. Now, I want to point out something. Aryeh in Hebrew is lion. If we look at the word for Ariel, it means lioness of God, lion of God. That's pretty cool. So I saw somebody the other day criticizing the believers, saying that we have a lion inside of us. And I didn't feel right about criticizing it. I thought, well, no, we should have a lion inside of us. And then you remember this verse. You remember this verse, we are the Lion of Judah, his spirit dwells within us, right? So, woe to Ariel, the Lion of God, to Ariel, the city where David dwelt. So Yahweh himself calls Jerusalem, the people in Jerusalem, of course, the Lion of God. Add year to year, let feasts come around, yet I will distress Ariel. He's talking to Jerusalem. There shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be to me as Ariel. I will encamp against you all around. I will lay siege against you with a mound, and I will raise siege works against you. You shall be brought down. You shall speak out of the ground. Your speech shall be low out of the dust. He is going to humble them. This is not literal. Much language in the Hebrew grammar is metaphoric picture. Hebrew is a very poetic language. Do not let this confuse you, because if you do, you will get some really weird thoughts, okay? This is symbolic. We don't really get to the dust. Your voice shall be like a medium's out of the ground, and your speech shall whisper out of the dust. Moreover, the multitude of your foes shall be like fine dust. So they're going to be like, remember how the boils we read the other day at the Zoom, the ashes turned into boils. They're like the fine dust of the earth. That's your enemies. We're going to increase like that. And the multitude of the terrible ones, like chaff that passes away. And if you've ever separated the chaff from the wheat, you throw it up. There's tons of chaff when you do that. When I grow my wheat and grains out here, when you break it apart, it's like you throw it up into the air and the chaff blows away. There's a lot of it. Yes, it shall be in an instant, suddenly, you will be punished by Yahweh Sebaot, Lord of armies, with thunder and earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. The multitude of all the nations who fight against Ariel, even all who fight against her and her fortress and distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision, like a nightmare. It shall even be as when a hungry man dreams and looks, he eats, but he awakes and his soul is still empty. It's going to be such a nightmare that they can't even believe it's happening. Or when a thirsty man dreams and look, he drinks, but he awakes, and indeed he is faint, and his soul craves. So the multitude of all of the nations shall be who fight against Mount Zion. Now remember, the final battle, Armageddon, it was prophesied that all nations will come against Yerushalayim, which is Zion. Again, please don't say Zion, because Zion is a male private part in slang Israeli language. Like if you go to Israel right now and speak Hebrew, if you say Zion, they'll chuckle at you. You want to say Zion. Zion. Just remember. Pause and wonder. Blind yourselves and be blind. They are drunk, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with intoxicating drink. For Yahweh has poured out on you the spirit of deep sleep and has closed your eyes, namely the prophets. And he has covered your heads, namely the seers. So Yahweh himself caused this deep sleep to fall on the people. Folks, I'm going to pause right here. Please remind me we're in verse 11. I'm going to write it down. Okay, now, there was a prophesied period of blindness to happen to the children of Israel. Blindness happened in part to Judah to provoke, so that the Gentiles could come back. The 10 northern tribes of Israel were a lot of those Gentiles, by the way, so that they could start coming back then. So blindness happened to Judah, but blindness also happened to Ephraim. It says in the book of Hosea that Ephraim wasn't even going to know he was the ancient people of God. Hosea, 7:9? He was going to have gray hair and not know that he had gray hair. He wasn't going to even know that he was the ancient people. There was a period of blindness that would happen to the Israelites, the 10 northern tribes of Israel, where they were scattered to the nations. But the awakening was prophesied to begin happening 2,730 years after the dispersion. Now, the 10 northern tribes of Israel were scattered in 730 BC by the Assyrian army. If you have not watched my YouTube video, please go do so, the one that says, "Are you a scattered Israelite?" But 730 BC is when the 10 northern tribes were scattered. And it was prophesied in Genesis 48 and in Hosea, they would become the Mehlo Hagoyim, the fullness of the Gentiles. And they would multiply like the fish, Hadagim. They would multiply like the fish. Like that's why we're fishers of men. That's why Yeshua called them fish. That's why they were told to go fish for them, because they were the fish. If they spoke Hebrew, they knew that. And good thing the Jews spoke Hebrew. The disciples spoke Hebrew. They knew what Yeshua was referring to. They knew why they were fishers of men. And that's why Jeremiah prophesied about fishers of men as well. So 10 northern tribes got scattered. They physically became, according to Genesis 48, verse 19, the fullness of the Gentiles. In the book of Hosea, it says they lost their identity as God's children. They forgot who they were. Now, the children of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, always have kept their identity as the Jews. Jews under Judah, Jews. They were ruled through the lineage of David. They've always kept their identity because they were always obedient in some form to the Torah. They were not as lawless and harlotrous as the northern tribes of Israel. That blindness was prophesied to be lifted after 2,730 years, to begin lifting. That's in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel laid on his side for 390 days for the house of Israel. You take that times the 7 times of punishment that was prophesied to come upon Israel if they were bad. If you were naughty, he said, I'm going to punish you 7 times. So you take the 390 times the 7 and you get 2,730 years. Did I do that right? Was it 2,000? Sorry, my brain. Is it 390? 390 times 7? Yes. Okay, so that was 2,730. Sorry, I'm really tired. All week, I have gotten no sleep, and I keep staying up till midnight or 1 o'clock. So I'm a little bit groggy. For whatever reason, Yahweh keeps making me stay up late. It's a beautiful thing, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so if the prophesied period of the awakening was to begin happening 2,730 years after the dispersion, let's do some math. 730 BC. This is really easy math, by the way. If you come to that's 730 years before the year 0 BC there, right? Okay, so you got 730 years back here. Now I need 2,000 more years to make it 2,730. Oh, that ended me right in the year 2000. And did you know in the year 2000 is when many of us began waking up to the Torah? That was the first group of awakening to the Torah. And then in 2012, I heard the Lord say, here's the second group. And then this year, I heard the Lord say, like, basically, here's the babies. Here's the grandchildren. Well, he did tell me, not just basically, he did tell me, here's the grandchildren now. So this is, you guys are the burgeoning nets. Those of you who are just coming recently, you're the burgeoning nets of Yahweh's children who are awaking to your identity, right? So that's the prophesied blindness that had to happen. In the book of Ezekiel 36 and 37, we're told that the awakening happens in the day of the Messiah. We're also told that in the book of Hosea. When the Messiah is about to return, we're told that the 2 sticks will be joined in his hand. Have you noticed how Jews and Gentiles are accepting Yeshua and the Torah together more than ever? A remnant's coming out from both sides. So you have Judaism and you have Christianity, 2 Babylon systems. And out of the middle of it is the remnant of God's children who are awakening, the dry bones of Israel coming back to life, and the house of Judah is being joined to the house of Israel, those who accept Messiah, Yeshua, and his Torah. Have you seen that happening? You guys, this is the day. We are about to enter the day when Messiah returns. The prophecy of the awakening of Ephraim was to occur in the day of the Messiah. That's in Hosea. And that's in Ezekiel. So we are just about to enter the tribulation, and we are just about to have the millennial reign happen. We are just about to have it because we see it happening. When the Lord woke me up almost 23 years ago, I didn't know I was going to have to be waiting 23 years. I didn't know I was going to be waiting 23 years. And there are a few people, there are people who are awakening right before that. But it's time. And he said to me, you know this, like Spirit of Elijah, go, a couple months ago. And he's like, go, they're coming. And here you guys are. And you're the 7,000 plus, right? So I just wanted to share that there. When it talks about the prophecy of blindness, the reason God blinded us, now let's go back to this. I want to talk about what was happening to the blindness. The reason we were blinded was because we had been sinful. Our forefathers had been sinful. And we needed to bear the punishment of our sins. And Ezekiel talks about that. It says that then the world will know that Israel went into captivity for their disobedience to the Torah. And when we come back, he says that he will then, it will be known that God brought us back, that he is the God that restores us and forgave us. And we will understand that we went into captivity for our sin. We were dispersed because of our sinful nature and what we did in our forefathers in the idolatry. But now he's bringing us back because of his righteous law Word, holiness, covenant, everything. He promised to bring us back, and he is bringing us back. Okay, I just wanted to stop and talk about the blindness that happened, the reason they were drunk. And so it was because of our disobedience. And now the church is getting even more drunk. I have never seen such a lawless time in my entire life. They will literally say that it's sinful to obey the commandments. Now, before everybody was said, oh, no, you do have to obey the commandments of God. But, you just, that's kind of if you want to. And we can't do, that's what they used to say in the last few years, especially in this year. I'm hearing them say, like, if, like your mother, like, saying, if you obey them, you go to hell. It's like, what? The pathway to hell is not paved with the commandments of God, like we talked about. Okay, so let me keep going. Sorry. They got blind. Verse 11, the whole vision has to be... The whole vision. So all the prophetic words of God, the vision that he's given, listen, the whole vision has become to you like the words of a book that is sealed. Are you guys like literally wondering how some people can't see what you're sharing with them? It's sealed, which men deliver to one who is illiterate, who is literate, they take the book and say, you read it. Read this, please. And he says, I can't, for it's sealed. Right now, I talk to Christians. You guys talk to Christians. We talk to these people that even in Judaism, Jews. I talk to them as well. Their eyes are so blind. They can look right at the scripture and not see what it's saying. It is sealed to them. Do not throw away the gift you have been given, because your eyes have been being opened to the truth of Yahweh Elohim. That is a gift. Yahweh unsealed your eyes like he did Paul. He has called you. We were all Paul. We all had our Paul on the road to Damascus experience. I physically, in 2002, February, whatever day it was, of 2002, I physically felt like my eyes, I felt like the dominoes, like, those little things. I felt like the blinders fell off. My fast was 13 days. It ended on a Friday night at sunset, and I could see. I literally received my sight. So let's be praying for the blind. Not put a stumbling block before them. Pray for them. Okay. They can't see. They literally can't see. It's like this. That's because of this that the Father put on them. Okay. Therefore the Lord said, inasmuch as these people draw near me with their mouths and honor me with their lips, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear, listen. Can you highlight this? And their fear toward me is taught by the commandment of men. What is Yahweh against? The commandments of men. Oh, Christianity and Judaism, both of them make up their own rules. Both of them reject the commandments of God. Judaism rejects the Torah. Christianity rejects the Torah. At least Judaism pretends to obey the Torah, but they don't really. They twist it. Do you understand here? Their fear of God was taught by the commandments of men. And what did Yeshua teach against? He says in Matthew 15 and Mark 7, why do you teach as doctrine the commandments of men? And why do you set aside the commandments of men to hold to your, why do you set aside the commandments of God to hold to your traditions of men? Do you see this linkage here? God, Yahweh, is mad that the fear of him was being taught by commandments of men. Therefore, behold, I will again do a marvelous work among this people, a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish. Right now, those pastors look really foolish to all of us who see. Right now, those rabbis look really foolish to those of us who see. And granted, I don't even want to say I see yet. I want to see more, so Father, keep opening our eyes. I don't want to be arrogant. And the understanding of their prudent men shall be hidden. Woe to those who seek deep to hide their counsel far from Yahweh, and their works are in the dark. They say, who sees us and who knows us? Surely you have things turned around. Surely you have things turned around, because they're even doing secret wicked things. Like how many pastors are stealing money? How many rabbis are stealing money? How many of them are doing perverse sexual things? And Yahweh's like, surely you have things turned around. Shall the potter be esteemed as the clay? For shall the thing made say of him who made it, he did not make me? Or shall the thing formed say of him who formed it, he has no understanding? That's exactly what the Christians are saying. They are saying that the commandments of God are stupid and bad and unholy. They're saying that they were a burden and a bondage when God himself, the potter, said, these are my commandments to give you that are life to you, freedom to you, your wisdom in the nations. And they have the audacity to say that God has no understanding, that his laws were bad. What in the world? That's insane. To tell God that his laws are bad and a burden and wicked? I had somebody say that it was that if you obey the law, you're the lawless people. I had somebody say that yesterday. If you obey the law, you're lawless. 1 + 1 = 653? What? What? No. Okay, let's keep going. Is it not yet a very little while till Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be esteemed as a forest? Now, Lebanon is just north of Israel. In that day, this is hope. Notice how in Scripture, especially in the book of prophecy, Yahweh will give a judgment, but he tells you of the hope to come. Just like a parent when you're spanking your child. You spank them, but they know there's love on the other side of that panking, right? That little panking there. When you're going to spank them, they still know there's love on the other side. And that is how it is with God. He spanks us. He disciplines us. But on the other side, there's his loving arms of restoration. He's going to bring us out of punishment at some point. Okay. Now, verse 18. Here's a blessing. In that day, listen, the deaf. So all those people that you are sharing with now that's falling on deaf ears, please keep speaking, because eventually that funnel is going to open. In that day, the deaf shall hear the words of the book, the Torah, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. They're going to hear and they're going to see. Do you remember the 5 days between the Yom Kippur War? It was not called Yom Kippur War. It's going to be called Battle of Armageddon. There's 5 days between the Battle of Armageddon and Sukkot. 5 represents the Torah, and what Yahweh has always told me, Mel, as soon as that battle ends, those people of mine who have been fighting are going to understand. I'm going to open their ears and open their eyes. Keep speaking so they will remember and know the word you've said. I'm going to read this again, verse 18. In that day the deaf shall hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The humble also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to nothing, the scornful one is consumed. So the Antichrist is coming down. And all who watch for iniquity are cut off. Let me go through this slowly. Who make a man an offender by a word, and lay a snare for him who reproves in the gate, and turn aside the just by empty words. So these false people who are coming against us, they try to twist the word of God to make us offenders. And they try to lay a snare for us. We are reproving. You are reproving the people. You're rebuking, basically. That's what reproving means. You're reproving the people and telling them to come back to God's ways. So in your families, in your friends, in your neighborhoods, in your groups right there, you're reproving them. But what they're doing is they're setting a snap to try to trick you. They are just like Yeshua. They always try to trick him in his words, trap him in his words, twist his words. They're setting snares for you. And you don't have to take the bait. It is okay to, just like your Messiah, when you see they're trying to trap you, it's okay to stay silent. It's okay. You don't even have to. You don't owe them an explanation. You said what you said. The truth of God is enough to stand. If they're going to just fight, you have the right to just let the Holy Spirit convict and walk away. Because if they're trying to trap you in your words and twist things and connive and get you stumbling on your words, that's what they're doing right here. So they lay a snare for him who reproves in the gate, because you're in the gates right now. You're in the gate. The people are trying to enter into Yahweh's truth, and you're in that gate trying to help them to get to the right gate, right? And they turn aside the just by empty words. So these people who would do good things, they turn them aside. They say, oh, you don't have to obey the law. You're free from that. And then those people go the wrong gate, and they go the wrong way. They're turning aside the just. There are truly people who want Yahweh who are being so deceived and misled by the false prophets. There are people being led the wrong way. Okay, therefore thus says Yahweh who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Yaakov. The word for Jacob is Yaakov. Yaakov shall not now be ashamed, nor shall his face now grow pale. But when he sees his children, that's you and me, that's us, the work of my hands, Yahweh's hands in his midst, they will hallow my name and hallow the Holy One of Jacob and fear the God of Israel. Listen. This is the verse I've been talking about for a few weeks now with you guys. Listen. Listen. This gives you hope. These also who erred in spirit, so the people who are speaking against the law right now, will come to understanding. And those who complained will learn doctrine. So those who are complaining against obeying the Torah, they're going to learn if they're truly God's child. And those who are erring in their spirit are going to come to understanding. Don't give up hope. Don't stop preaching, speaking, teaching, shouting it from the rooftops, blowing the shofar. Do not stop. Because those who err in spirit will come to understanding, and those who complain will learn doctrine. That's what kept me going for 20 some years so far, guys. That's what keeps me going. And the verse in Isaiah 42 that says, he shall not fail nor be discouraged until he has established justice in the earth. And the Father says, you work with me. If you Messiah, if your husband's not discouraged, don't you dare get discouraged. Hi, Cherry. I didn't see you get on here. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Dana. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Let me pause. Almost went just right on. Sorry, my eyes are so tired tonight. Any questions about that chapter? I love chapter 29. Okay, Dana, you're going to want to go back and watch this after I post it to the lives videos. It's going to be under the video section because the first that chapter was really good. Really good. Yes, I love Holy Spirit and the Father and Son. I love exactly Yeshua, Jesus. Exactly, Devin. Isn't he beautiful? Okay, I've been told that as Christians, we can't be so far removed from the world or different that there's no appeal for others. Well, that's not scripture, is it? The Bible says be holy and different. How are they going to see the light in you if you look just like the mud in them? How are they going to see you through the soot if you just stay in the soot, right? That's not how it works. That is not how it works. So people can make up you can make up whatever you want. Doesn't make it true. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Jan. Just got on. Yay, Ruth. Okay, guys. Any questions from chapter 29? If you are just coming on, please go back and watch this. Chapter 29 was really good. We started 15 minutes exactly into it. So you'll want to fast forward from the beginning of the video, 15 minutes, and that's exactly where we started reading. Okay, so now, ready to go? You guys ready to go for Isaiah 30? Let me get a drink. This, by the way, is my raw milk with turmeric and cocoa. Now, it's cacao. It is not Keiko. One of my friends keeps saying Keiko. I'm like, it's not Keiko. It's cacao. It's cocoa if there's a C-O-C-O-A, and it's cacao if there's a C-A-C-A-O. And they're processed two different ways, which is why there's two different spellings, but it's never Keiko. I owned a health food store, and little ladies were so stinking cute, and they'd come in looking for quinoa. I'm like, it's quinoa. And I'm like, oh, let me help you find some quinoa over here. It was so cute. Because, usually it's like meat, potatoes, onions. We can pronounce that. Then you get things like kamut and teff and quinoa. And you're like, what is it? Spirulina. Okay, go Mel. John, you're awesome. Okay, chapter 30. Honestly, guys, if you missed chapter 29, go back, listen to the beginning of this. This video will post in just a little bit here, and then I'll post it again on YouTube when I remember, probably tomorrow. I don't know. Oh, by the way, I don't know if the guy's on here, but this is amazing, guys. We are family. We are family. We are family. And this beautiful soul, I didn't know who he was, but apparently he's been watching the videos and the reels and whatnot. And then he must have Facebook stalked or looked on my page a little bit and saw my husband. My husband's getting lots of friend requests. He goes, I don't know. All these people send me friend requests, and I think it's because they know you. Anyway, so this guy reaches out. And he saw my husband was a general contractor, and he's on his way. We're going to meet this gentleman that he's so excited to find like-minded believers. He's on his way right now. And of course, if you know my life story, that happens kind of a lot where we just randomly take in strangers and stuff. But isn't that so exciting? So pray for that blessing and that blessing of the time. And we are family. We need each other. And even if we disagree on things, guys, we love each other. Like I don't know everything, and I don't even want to be right. I just want to know what's right and do what's right. I don't pretend to be anything. I'm a farm girl from Montana who's now a farm girl in Wyoming. Like, we're nothing. I don't know why God called my family. I don't even know. My mom was so prophetically inspired. She was so anointed. Like, she would think about you and you were healed. Man, that woman was amazing. Don't even get me crying about her. I love her. Miss her. Okay, chapter 30. Chapter 30. I don't really like, I like this chapter, but it's like, oh. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, who take counsel, but not of me, and who devise plans, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Who walk to go down to Egypt. They go down to Egypt. Egypt, what does Egypt represent? Sin. Mitzrayim is the word for Egypt in Hebrew. It's one of only two words that are always dual purposed. They go down to Egypt. That would be like taking loans, looking for knowledge where you're not supposed to look for knowledge, doing sinful things, like, right? Like the medical field, anything Egypt. Egypt is that which is against Yahweh, sin. Therefore, the strength of Pharaoh shall be your shame, and trust in the shadow of Egypt shall be your humiliation. They were thinking the Egypt shadow was going to hide them from the sun, the scorching sun, and that symbology. Our strength is Yeshua and Yahweh. Our strength is in Yahweh. Our trust is in him. But if we put our trust in other things, we're going to learn a hard lesson, right? Money, doctors, medicine. If we put our trust in anything other than Yahweh, we're going to be in trouble. They shall be our humiliation. For his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people who could not benefit them or be help or benefit, but a shame and also a reproach, the burden against the beasts of the south. Through a land of trouble and anguish, from which came the lioness and lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent, they will carry their riches on the backs of young donkeys and their treasures on the humps of camels to a people who shall not profit. So they're going to go through terrible places with a lot of judgment, and all of their treasures are going to be carried away. And they were, and it will happen again. For the Egyptians shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore I have called her Rahab Chem Shibeth. And that means Rahab sits idle. So Rahab means spacious or broad. Spacious or broad, sits idle. So now go, write it before them on a tablet and note it on a scroll, that it may be for a time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious children, lying children. Listen. I always tell you when to listen, like this verse is important. Okay, I'm going to read again. That this is a rebellious children, lying children, children who will not hear the law of Yahweh. If you're a liar, you won't hear the law of Yahweh. So, are you a liar if you're hearing the law? Are you going to hell if you obey the law? Who are the liars? Those who speak against the law and won't hear it. If they won't hear the law, I want you to, everybody put this post. I'm going to make a post. I'm going to make a little meme for this when we're done. Okay. Isaiah 30. Where was I just at? Verse 9. I'm going to make photo. Everybody needs to see that. Everybody needs to see that. The children who are liars are those who will not hear the law of Yahweh. Isaiah chapter 8 says, to the law and the testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, there's no light in them. No light. Like, they're dim. They're dim. Dim. There's no light. It's darkness. If they say not to obey the law, it's darkness in them. And that's what we have to pray out of them. Okay. So again, verse 9. That this is a rebellious people, lying children who will not hear the law of Yahweh, children who will not hear the law of Yahweh, who say to the seers, that's some of you have the gift of seeing, don't see. And to the prophets, that's me and some of you have the gift of prophecy, don't prophesy to us right things. They don't want to hear the law of Yahweh, do they? Speak to us smooth things. Prophesy deceits. Tell us we're okay how we are. Tell us we can commit fornication with Easter and Christmas and pagan holidays. Tell us we're okay with God and he loves us how we are, dressed like prostitutes. Tell us he loves us in our idolatry. Tell us he loves us and we're okay and we don't have to do anything. We can just have a big licentious party and we're okay because we said the magic name of Jesus. Not okay, is it, guys? Not going to work. We have to be born again. But that's what they want to hear. That's what they want to hear. They want you just to tell them it's okay. They want you to talk about the weather. They want you to say they look beautiful in their horrible, ungodly, unhumble new hairdo and makeup and fake body parts, right? They want you to tell them it's okay to just watch sports after sports and break the Sabbath and make lots of money and focus on money. They want you to tell them They're okay, whatever they're doing. They say, get out of the way, turn aside from the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Now, they don't know that's what they're saying. But what we know from the Torah says if you break the commandments of God, he leaves you and he pushes you out of the land. The land will vomit you out. Remember, we just read that the other night? The land will vomit you out. Because the land vomited out the Canaanites because they didn't keep God's laws. We went into the promised land. We broke the laws. We got vomited out. That's why we're here in America. This isn't the good place. This was the place where we were sent because of the punishment. So they tell us, they don't know what they're telling us, but they're physically setting us up for the crosshairs of God to punish us. Not us, we've come out, but those who are still under their grasp, under their grips. Therefore, thus says the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perversity and rely on them, therefore this iniquity shall be to you like a breach ready to fall, a bulge in a high wall. So think about a wall where it starts to bow because of the pressure and it's going to fall apart, whose breaking comes suddenly in an instant. He's like, you're going to break for this. And so soon we're going to have this tribulation. All those false prophets will be shown for what they are. All those false teachers and bad shepherds who are leading people right into the crosshairs of God's judgment are going to be exposed. And he shall break it like the breaking of the potter's vessel, which is broken in pieces. And we do pottery, so if you've ever known what you break it into shards, he shall not spare. So there shall not be found among its fragments a shard to take fire from the hearth or to take water from the cistern. For thus says Adonai Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. Can I ask you to mark this again? Listen, in returning and rest, you shall be saved. So what were these people fighting against that were going to get judged? Oh, right, they won't listen to the law of God. They're fighting against the laws of Yahweh and saying, don't prophesy to us to turn us to the right things. Just speak to us smooth things. Just tell us what we want to hear, that we're okay. And Yahweh's like, I'm going to bring this judgment on you because of that. It's going to be like this big old wall and it's going to fall down suddenly. But he's telling them how to get saved. In returning, so in turning from your sin and repentance, turning from your lawlessness, and then just resting in Yahweh, you shall be saved. Just turn and rest in him. Like, just obey. Just like obey. You don't even have to think hard. Like, you don't even have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to figure anything out. Physically pick up the law, the book of the Bible, and read it. Ask the Holy Spirit to minister to you, and just do it. If it says not to murder, just don't murder. And then when he tells you, yeah, and that means like don't even be angry in your heart at them. Say, okay, thank you, Holy Spirit, for teaching me the grown-up meaning of this. In returning and rest, you shall be saved. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Your confidence is the fact that Yahweh is your Savior and his ways are truth. Yeah, trust and obey. But you would not. You would not. And you said, no, for we shall flee on horses. Therefore you shall flee. Because Yahweh's like, I'm bringing the judgment on you. And you know how to stop the judgment? If you would just turn, repent. Teshuvah is the Hebrew word to turn or repent. If you would just turn, I'll save you. You know it's really easy to be forgiven by God. Like, it's so easy to be forgiven. You just got to stop doing the naughty thing and turn to the right thing. And he says, you wouldn't. Nope, I struck you with sickness. Oh, no, you're going to go to the doctor. That's your horse there. Oh, I struck you with, like, because you took loans and all this debt and you were, like, covetous for things. So I struck you with, like, whatever. You started getting identity theft or you started to lose your possessions. But nope, you're going to go for more. You won't rest. You just keep getting on your horses and fleeing. Horses are a sign of your own strength. Therefore, you shall flee. Fine. And we will ride on swift horses. So they said, and we will ride on swift horses. Therefore, those who pursue you shall be swift. 1,000 shall flee at the threat of one. So 1,000 of those disobedient children of God are going to flee before one person. Like, he's turning the blessings from the Torah around to us as curses because of our disobedience. Because 1,000 were supposed to flee before one of us. But when we disobey God, 1,000 of us will flee before one of them. Does that make sense? Okay. 1,000 shall flee at the threat of one. At the threat of 5 you shall flee, till you are left as a pole on top of a mountain and as a banner on a hill. Therefore, Yahweh, listen, this is our God's heart. This is our daddy's heart. Listen, Therefore, Yahweh will wait, that he may be gracious to you. Do you see that Yahweh doesn't want to judge or afflict or put the punishment upon you? He must wait. He will wait for you because he adores you. He loves you. It says right up here, he had to punish them because they turned their ear away from hearing the law. It says, therefore, though, Yahweh will wait. And we just read in the previous chapter that those who fought against the law after the tribulation, they're going to understand what the law meant and why we're to obey it. They're going to come to understanding. They're going to come to obedience and submission. So don't forget chapters 28 and 29 of Isaiah. 29 and 30 of Isaiah. Therefore, Yahweh will wait, that he may be gracious to you. And therefore, he will be exalted, that he may have mercy on you. And the word mercy in Hebrew is the same that means loving kindness. That's what that word mercy means, loving kindness. For Yahweh is a God of justice. Blessed are those who wait for him. So in your affliction, in your punishment, in your trials, don't turn back to Egypt for help. Endure your punishment. Wait for him and you will be blessed. Because when you understand he had to punish us for our sins, but that he will forgive us and be gracious to us, you wait for him. You wait for him. You trust him. You love him. You obey him because you know your daddy loves you more than any other entity ever could. If any of you have had a wayward child like I did, you know what it feels like to wait. You wait that you may be gracious to him again. You wait that you may be gracious. And that's what Yahweh does to us. He is so patient. Yes, we need Yah all day long. Okay, verse 19. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. He's bringing us back. If you read the book of Ezekiel, we return to the land of Israel. Ezekiel 47 and specifically says it, but also just chapters 40 to the end, 40 to 48 talk about it. Zechariah 14 talks about it. For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. We're going back to Israel. Please read Ezekiel 47, the last couple verses. You'll really see it. You shall weep no more. Remember, after the tribulation, we're going to weep no more. He will be very gracious to you at the sound of your cry. When he hears it, he will answer you. That's the cry of repentance, penitence. You're sorry for what you did. And though Yahweh gives you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, he's going to give you affliction, yet your teachers will not be moved into a corner anymore. Those of you, like me, those of us teaching Torah, nothing can get us off this. Nothing can get us moved from the foundation of what Yahweh has spoken as truth. So I would say like Monty Judah, Eddie Chumney, people like that, okay, Bachi Wooten. Your teachers will not be moved into a corner anymore. But your eyes, listen, your eyes shall see your teachers. This isn't just Yeshua. So some people get this false notion that there's no teachers other than Yeshua. That's not biblical. That's not even what the New Covenant's talking about. Paul even says some are apostles, some are prophets, some are teachers. Don't fight the word of God. Listen. Yet your teachers will not be moved into a corner anymore, but your eyes shall see your teachers. Your ears shall, remember I always quote this, your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. Whenever you turn to the right hand or whenever you turn to the left. Your teachers, what have I told you? We are not to be a sage on the stage. We are to be behind you, pushing you to God. And when I see you going to the right or to the left, I have to correct you and rebuke you in gentleness and love. Say, no, that's not the way. Get over here. Don't start that own group. Don't do this. Don't go off the left. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your teachers are pushing you to get closer to God. They're not taking your money. They're not standing between you and God. They're not dividing you from God like the Nicolaitan pastors do. They're not giving you a 15-minute feel-good message that then tells you, like, you're good till next week. Your teachers, you will see your teachers. You will know who they are. Yahweh will tell you who they are. They will say, listen to this person. Your teachers aren't going to be moved because they're on the foundation of solid Torah. And they are going to be pushing you closer to Yahweh and telling you to get out there and fulfill the purpose that God created you for. They are not between you and God. They are saying, rise up and fulfill your part of the body's mission. Rise up and become the child of God you are called to be. Rise up, grow up, and know the word of God yourself. That's what your true teachers will say, and they won't take a dime from you. And they'll tell you, this is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. This is the way, walk in it. Torah, 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 Torah. Verse 22, you will also defile the covering of your images of silver and the ornament of your molded images of gold. You will throw them away as an unclean thing. You will say to them, get away. So all the idols are going to be gone. Then he will give the rain for your seed. I have a feeling we're going to have some pretty tough times of dryness until then, right? During the tribulation, talks about it kind of in scripture as well. Then he will give you the rain for your seed with which you sow the ground, and bread of the increase of the earth. It will be fat and plentiful. In that day your cattle will feed in large pastures. Likewise the oxen and the young donkeys that work the ground will eat cured fodder, which has been winnowed with the shovel and fan. There will be on every high mountain and on every high hill rivers and streams of waters in the day of the great slaughter when the towers fall. Remember, Jerusalem's going to be raised above all the nations. There's going to be cataclysmic events. I have a feeling like the reverse Pangea is going to happen, like the reverse Peleg days thing's going to happen, and the earth, all the land mass is going to come kind of back together. I could be wrong on that. That's just me thinking. Haven't prayed about it, haven't asked about it. It's just a thought I've had. Those rivers and the streams are going to be flowing in the great day of slaughter. Well, that's the battle of Armageddon. Moreover, the light of the moon will be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun will be sevenfold. Now, the millennial kingdom is very natural. I've told you guys this. The sun, moon, and stars. We don't not have the sun again to the until after the millennial reign, when the new Jerusalem descends. Then Yahweh will be the light in that environment. And he is light, right? In Genesis, we see him separate light from darkness, and that's him. But the moon and the light here are going to be, everything's going to be purified. And when Messiah returns at the millennial kingdom, we are under his rule. Those who keep the commandments of God get to eat the tree of life. The tree of life was taken away from us in Genesis chapter 3 because of disobedience. And it says, God said to them, guard the tree of life so they can't get it, or else they will eat it and live forever and be like us. So when we eat the tree of life, it makes us live forever. It rejuvenates our bodies in such a way that we live forever. And it says in Revelation 22:14, blessed are those who keep the commandments of God, that they may have the right to eat the tree of life. You're going to be healed. When Yeshua returns, you will have a new heart. You will have everything that you need, whatever you need, eyesight, vision, everything's going to be healed. If you keep doing the commandments of God now, stay faithful, wait for him, wait for him, wait for him, wait for him, wait for him. If he doesn't heal you now, which he can, some of you have been healed. We've been doing, you've been healed. Some of you haven't yet. Hold on. Hold on. It could be like Paul, where Yahweh says, my grace is sufficient for thee. Hold on. Hold on. If you keep his commandments, you're going to eat the tree of life and you'll live forever. And the light of the sun is going to be sevenfold as the light of 7 days in the day that Yahweh binds up the bruise of his people, because we're going to be bruised pretty hard during this tribulation, and heals the stroke of their wound. We're going to be wounded, but he's going to heal us. He's going to heal us. Okay, so remember this. Tribulation. Remember Yeshua says, am I going to find faith when I return? You're going to be so wore out. It says Satan's going to make war with the saints and wear them out. You have got to remind yourself of these words. I don't care what you need to do. You need to imprint this. The Holy Spirit needs to imprint this on you. Don't forget this. You're going to be bruised, but healed. You're going to be wounded, but healed. He says he's going to punish us. In the book of Jeremiah, he says, I'm going to punish you double for your sins first. Don't lose hope. Just like those of you who, my mother said I would always just bend over the bed if I needed a spanking. Didn't get very many. She said, you never fought it, Mel. You just took, and I did. Even when God punishes me, I just say, okay, Lord, I accept my punishment. Please teach me. Help me not to do it again. I don't fight my punishment. I just accept it. I embrace it, and I cling to him. I'm like, help me through this, Daddy. This hurts. Help me. Boom. And he always tells me the number of days the punishment's going to be. He tells me what I need to learn. I work on it. And at the end of it, he heals me. He restores me, and he holds me, and he kisses me, and he hugs me. Don't fight it. Don't lose hope. know that just like that punishment has to teach you a lesson, he means it for your good. And in the end, he's going to hug you and hold you and heal you. Whatever you need to do to remind yourself, because it's going to get really dark and ugly soon. And I mean soon. And it's going to be really ugly. Do not lose hope. Do not forget. Do not lose your faith. Do not lose your faith. I can't stress it enough. I don't even know how to say it. Yahweh Elohim, don't let anybody lose faith in you that is watching. Okay, or even not watching. Anybody of your people, right? Okay, verse 27. Behold, the name of Yahweh comes from afar, burning with his anger, and his burden is heavy. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue like a devouring fire. He's angry. Daddy's mad. His breath is like an overflowing stream, which reaches up to the neck to sift the nations with the sieve of futility. This is all not literal. Please don't think this is literal. This is symbolic. And there shall be as a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. Remember I talked about the strong delusion coming upon the earth soon, so you must get out of the system so you don't, like Babylon, so you don't hear the rumors. He is going to cause them to err. Why? Because what did it say? He gave them over to blindness. Remember? So read chapters 29 and 30. If you're just joining us, go back and listen to the beginning of this. He's going to cause them to err because they wouldn't listen. You shall have a song as in the night when a holy festival is kept, and gladness of heart as when one goes with a flute to come into the mountain to the Holy One of Israel. Yahweh will cause his glorious voice to be heard and show the descent of his arm. We're not probably physically going to see an arm come out of heaven. With the indignation of his anger and the flame of a devouring fire, with scattering, tempest, and hailstorms. Remember, I'm talking about always cataclysmic events coming during the tribulation. For through the voice of Yahweh, Assyria will be beaten down as he strikes with the rod. Assyria is the nation who scattered the Israelites in 730 BC. Assyria, at certain points in Scripture, as we've read here through this book of Isaiah, we're in chapter 30 now, Assyria has represented not just modern-day Syria or the Assyrian nation, but sometimes it has represented the countries to where they've been scattered. Remember that as we've read through it. And in every place where the staff of his punishment passes, which Yahweh lays on him, it will be with tambourines and harps, and in battles of brandishing he will fight with this. For Tophet was established of old, yes, for the king it is prepared. He has made it deep and large. Its pyre is fire with much wood. The breath of Yahweh, like the stream of brimstone, kindles it. So this is talking about the judgment day. That chapter, those two chapters were good. Those two chapters were good. Now we're going to keep going. If you are just joining us, I'm going to suggest please go watch this video from the beginning again. Go 15 minutes in from the beginning, and then you will get to the teaching where we start reading. This is good. Are there any questions so far? Please, if you've typed one, I did not see it. I just have to read. I can't look at questions in this. It makes it too scattered for everybody listening, and for me, I lose track. So if you have a question, and if I didn't see it already, please type it again. Post it right now about chapters 29 or 30. And then we're going to go and continue on. Let's not get on random questions. Keep it on chapters 29 or 30. And then we're going to go to 31 if we don't have any questions. Okay. Oh, I do pray, Sherry, that Yahweh will give you the strength to do his will and his ways. Yep, and Randy, you're right. He is faithful. Hi, Alicia, Dana. Yes, exactly. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. It can get really tough when life is tough. Some of you who are going through really tough things right now, some of you who lost your families over this, don't lose hope. Joseph was sold by his brothers. Joseph was sold into slavery. I bet he never thought he was going to see his family again. He probably even forgot the dreams he had. He probably didn't think those dreams were going to come true. Don't lose hope, because they did come true. Okay, does anybody have a question before we go on with chapter 31? Okay, okay. Okay. Hello, Tarinda. Hello, Renee. Okay. Renee, I'm not sure if you're posting a question or if you're just putting a scripture there. I don't really know. So you're going to have to be very specific with me. Okay. Okay. Well, it looks like no questions per se that I see coming through. I don't see any questions. Thank you, Yeshua. Exactly. Yeshua is good. Okay. Okay, I keep seeing the word rumble for the past week. I told my husband about seeing the word repeatedly tonight. My husband then proceeds to tell me that last night he felt the ground shaking underneath him, almost like, ooh, ooh. And so she says, he felt the ground shaking underneath him, almost like a subway train. We live in Florida. I'm so shook. Ooh. I used to live in Florida. I do not remember having earthquakes in Florida. Do you think that it was symbolic, or do you think it was actually real? Because are there earthquakes in Florida? I know Missouri has a lot. I know Oklahoma has a lot. Shalom, just a script. Okay, thank you, Renee. Hi, Kathy. Sorry, I was having senior moments. I kept on saying Leviticus, and I knew that we were in Isaiah. Senior moment. Please forgive me. No forgiveness needed. We love each other. We love each other. Okay, guys, that was that. Lord, will you please protect Linda? Yeah, we used to live in Florida. We used to live in Palm Bay, which is right by Cocoa Beach in Melbourne. My sister kind of she lived longer in Florida, from St. Augustine down to, she lived in Melbourne area too. And then I think she lived on the other side too for a while. On the other side, we always lived Atlantic side. Okay, solar eclipses are linked to earthquakes. Really? Kimberly. Yeah, I think all like kind of cataclysmic events are kind of linked together, huh? Yeah, America's going to be shaken. Okay, and Linda, this whole earth is about to be shaken. I wonder too if your life is being shaken right now, if this is a new awakening for you, like your ground, the foundation you had, like in your pagan, like, in the Babylon system, maybe this is the time of your awakening. There's a weird noise coming from the sky now and shaking. Wow. And Joe's in Arizona. Yahweh, please protect him. Does Yahweh agree with the leap years? Okay, so Marie, that's a great question. So next year, most likely, according to the Abib Barley calendar that we're on, we will have a leap year next year. But see, Judaism projected the dates out for the ease of the scattering of the tribes of Israel, right? And so they injected a leap year this year. But I believe, and when I prayed about it and we got that prophetic word, those of you who were on the Zoom saw, it was pretty amazing, the prophetic word that came through Nikki and then what he had me do together. We didn't know, we didn't coordinate beforehand, but Yahweh made it clear that this was Passover week. And it was awesome. It was just so awesome. And please don't feel any condemnation if you didn't know, and you're going to do it next month. There's no judgment. Yahweh knows we're in scattering, and this is part of us understanding and accepting that we've been scattered. This is part of us accepting our punishment. But they injected the 13th year hundreds of years ago, like a long time ago, without ever checking the barley harvest to see when it was going to ripen. And they don't even know if they could bring their first fruits or if it's going to be too long past. So, yeah. Okay, awesome. I'm in the Treasure Coast right beneath Palm Bay. Oh, that's awesome. So my husband used to live in or work in Port St. Lucie. He would go to Port St. Lucie all the time. I liked Florida. It was like a giant vacation, but I did not like all the sand in my house and my vehicle. Being a triple type A person, sand is really hard. Really hard. Thank you, the Holy Spirit, for comforting us. Yes, exactly, Devin. Which state are you in, Joe? Joe is in Arizona. Well, that's where he lives. I don't know if he might be visiting somebody right now. Ooh, wow, Stella. Oh, wow. Okay, Donna, I love you. You can watch this in the morning. Yes. But that's okay, Marie. We can always start where we are. We can start where we are. Okay, I will tell you one thing the Father told me, and I'm just going to say it because I feel like I have to be completely transparent. I'm always afraid of saying anything. Like I pray about everything, making sure and I know some of you don't agree with me on it, but I have prayed fervently about whether the earth is flat or round or whatever. I pray about everything. And I said, Father God, don't let me speak wrong. Don't, just set guard over me, whatever. And I do. And so with the New Year thing, this was the most confusing. This is my 23rd Passover observance, and it was the most confusing I've ever had that's ever been. Where people were, because usually there's oh yeah, we have a lot of Abib barley, and some people are like, absolutely not. This year it was so divided, and I was just I literally freaked out because at first I saw the reports on March 11th, and I said, yay, it's the new year. And then I heard all these other people saying. A few people saying, well, only 3 of the 4 say it is, and one person doesn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And so then I'm I'm going to hold off till Devorah does her second search. But the first parties had already found enough Abib on March 11th. They really did find barley in the stage of Abib, which means a specific stage of barley ripeness where they could bring it to the temple for the Feast of First Fruits, for their Omer to bring there. And so anyway, I just prayed about it. And every sign I asked for, Yahweh kept telling me, and then we got that prophetic word that night with Nikki. And so then what he told me, here's what he said to me, and it's not to put anybody down. He said, okay, a couple weeks ago, the Father showed me a pyramid. I saw like a pyramid, like kind of like the food pyramid, but it was like, he said, Mel, this is the kingdom of heaven. He said, most people that come to me are at the bottom, and they're okay just to be saved. But the ones who want me, that are ascending to the top, they're few. They have a harder path because they're going to overcome more flesh, and they're really going to they want to be the one, the perfect one, the bride. And they want to overcome their flesh. Not for arrogance, but because he saved them. They're thankful. And he said, Mel, I've sent those people. A lot of those people are the ones I've sent to you. He told me in October when I had that whole thing happen where the 7,000 came, because those of you who don't know the story, I was just lamenting over the divided body and the things I've been seeing, and it's getting so weird and weirder and weirder, the things people are saying. And I lay there just sobbing, and I said, Yahweh, you've got to save your children, and if I do teach your truth like you keep saying, then bring them here. I said, bring me the 7,000. I promise, I'll help you. If you trust me, if that's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I knew it was him putting it on my heart to pray that. I said, bring them here. And I went to bed with like 27 or 2,900 followers on my page. And I said, Lord, only if you trust me, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, like he's told me for 20-some years that this is what I'm here for. We're going to be teaching you. And I said, just bring them so I can help them. Because I said, Lord, if they're confused, but they want you, just bring them here to help get them out of the systems. I went to bed, 2,700 or 2,900 followers. I can't remember the exact number. I woke up and I heard Yahweh say, grab your phone. I never do that. He never wants me to grab my phone first. So I grabbed my phone and he said, get on Facebook. I got on Facebook. I kid you not. I swear before the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, there were exactly 7,000 followers from me going to bed that night to waking up that morning. And I heard him say in my ear, here they are. And then he told me more were coming. So it wasn't just the 7,000 from whatever it was, September or October, when that was. And he keeps telling me. He said, Mel, I have sent you those who have a different spirit. I have sent you those who want me. I have sent you the 7,000, so to speak, who haven't bowed their knee to Baal. They're confused. Some of them are incorrect. Some of them have been taught lies. He said, I've sent them, and more are coming. And the other day, he told me the ones that are you guys. He reminded me. He said, Mel, these are the ones that are trying. They want me. And I'm not going to say everyone just blanketly, but primarily I see a spirit in you guys. I've taught Torah for almost 23 years. I know what it's like to see rebellious children who just want to do their own way. He keeps telling me that you guys are the ones who want him. Some of you have been confused. I'm sorry, it touches my heart. But he knows, he sees that you want to get there. You want to get your flesh gone and you want to know him. So please remember to never draw a line in the sand and don't tell him no and keep going, because it's a hard path. You're climbing Kilimanjaro. You're climbing whatever it is. I'm not a mountain climber. You're climbing the top, the biggest peak ever, which brings you on the most narrow path. And you are overcoming your flesh in a more stringent way. So remember that as you're going. Remember that. You are called. You are chosen. But it's your choice if you follow through with it. Go up the path. Don't let go. And don't stop. Okay, so I've been confused, seeking the truth every day as he brought me to you. Oh, Randy, I'm thankful for all of you. That was right at the time I started seeing the truth. That's awesome. I'm so glad God sent, well, I'm glad all of us are together, guys. We need each other. You guys have no idea. 23 years in Torah where people just fighting, and how many people have come to Torah and then they start doing this path and that path. And my heart has been broken as a mama, as a spiritual mama. Like, so many people come to Torah and then they just fall away or do this or that. You guys have healed my heart. I feel like the grandma. I feel like the grandma to you. Like, I feel like the children that I raised were the rebellious children, because I've been teaching for 20-some years, and they're almost all been rebellious in the end. They just have, we're going to do it our way. And I'm not joking. Yahweh would always give me prophecies before it would happen. He'd say, oh, Mel, they're going to run the way of Korah. I'm like, really? really, Lord? And he goes, yep. But he keeps telling me good things about you. And what he told me 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, he said, Mel, because I said, Lord, what? This group seems so different again. And he says, yeah. He goes, remember how like in the Bible, Mel, he goes, I'll have a good king and then the children will be bad, but then the next generation will be good again. He goes, that's what you're seeing. I was like, yes. So you guys have restored my hope. Not only, I know you guys say you're thankful for me, but I am so thankful for you. I am so thankful for people who don't want to just be right and don't want to just argue, but you just want to seek together the truth. I am so thankful for people who aren't just like coming like to tear me down because I just am so thankful for you guys as well. You have no idea. It's been a hard 20. How many days you guys been in this? It's been a hard 24 years. You all know I was put out of the family. You all know that I was abandoned. You know, some of you know my story. But I have Yahweh, and now I have you. These little chicks that are hatching. So beautiful. Okay. I think you guys answered questions. Okay. I might have missed some questions and all that. If there's any, just a bunch of humble dummies trying to make it up. You got it, Jesse. Good. I always tell the Father that, Lord, you know I'm stupid. You're going to have to speak loud. You know I'm dumb. You're going to have to speak loud. And I'm like, I'm going to do it with gusto because I believe it was you. And if I'm wrong, you hit me with that frying pan and turn me around. Okay. Okay. I cried for 3 hours. Let's do this. Oh. Thank you, Dominic. Praise Yahweh. Okay, guys, let's go. Let's do another chapter. I know I'm tired, but we can go another chapter. This stuff is good. The Word of God is good. For those of you new, is Angela on or Christina? Can somebody link the podcast for those of you who are new to all this? I do make a podcast going chapter by chapter through the Bible. It's called God's Little Hummingbird on any platform. I listen to it on Apple. Some people listen on Spotify. Some people do it on Podbean. You can find it anywhere. God's Little Hummingbird. Start in Genesis. It goes through with a insertion of the book of Galatians at one point. And then I make a YouTube channel called God's Little Hummingbird. And then the live videos on here. There's tons of live videos, okay? Thank you, Jessie. She does it too. Okay, she has and so if you guys can link any of that, that'd be great. I apologize for the stuffy nose. I had so much hay when I threw the hay over the feeder to my cows. The wind picked up and went, and I knew. Yahweh said, Satan's trying to silence you, Mel. You keep going. Because of course I was like, okay. Chapter 31. Back on track. Sorry. Honestly, I think these little dialogues help you guys, though, to see the reality and know what God's been saying to me, and I think it helps you to see that. 31. Woe to those who go down to Egypt for help and rely on horses. What were we just talking about in chapter 30? Who trust in chariots because there are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but who do not look to the Holy One of Israel, nor seek Yahweh. Who should be the one you seek when you're in trouble? So if you're sick, we were told to go to Yahweh through the priests or the elders. If you're in financial trouble, you need to go to Yahweh, and he will help you and guide you where to go. If you have any affliction, anything, you need help. You need you're surrounded by an army. Cry out to Yahweh like Asa did. When he cried out to Yahweh, he was saved. When he went and got king help from the other king, he got in trouble. Verse 2, yet he also is wise and will bring disaster and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers and against the help of those who work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, and their horses are flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh stretches out his hand, both he who helps will fall, and he who is helped will fall down. So Yahweh's going to judge the person helping the wicked. So the person was supposed to call to Yahweh. This person didn't. They called to Egypt. So then Yahweh is going to judge both of them. Okay, so he's going to judge both him who... Okay, sorry, I have an iPad here. Both he who helps will fall and he who is helped will fall down. They will all perish together. Verse 4, for thus Yahweh has spoken to me as a lion roars and a young lion over his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is summoned against him, he will not be afraid of their voice nor be disturbed by their voice. Like a lion doesn't care how many shepherds you have. A lion's going to be like, just bring him down. So Yahweh Sebaot will come down to fight for Mount Zion and for its hill. Yahweh, like when Yeshua returns in Zechariah 14, he comes to the Mount of Olives. He's coming right back to fight for Jerusalem. That's Mount Zion. Like birds flying about, so will Yahweh Sebaot defend Jerusalem. Defending He will also deliver it. Passing over, he will preserve it. He's going to save Jerusalem. Go read Zechariah 14 at some point. Return to him against whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. Return to Yahweh. Repent, return. For in that day every man shall throw away his idols of silver and his idols of gold. Don't trust in your money no longer. Silver, gold, not going to get you salvation, not going to help you out. Sin which your own hands have made for yourselves. Then Assyria shall fall by a sword not of man, so Yahweh striking him, and a sword not of mankind shall devour him, but he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall become forced labor. He shall cross over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the banner, says Yahweh, whose fire is in Zion and whose furnace is in Jerusalem. I'm going to note, if you have not listened to the podcast or the YouTube video that I made, that Are You a Scattered Israelite, you need to listen to that before you continue with this in anything. That is an important video to watch. God's Little Hummingbird on YouTube. If you can't find it, message me. I'll just send it to you. I'm going to keep going. Thank you guys for posting that, by the way, the information. Behold, a king will reign in righteousness, and princes will rule with justice. A man will be as a hiding place from the wind, and a cover from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry land, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. I'm going to point out something here. Click on the interlinear, those of you who have it. That word wind there, so remember a man is a hiding place from the wind. The word for wind in Hebrew is ruach. It's the same word we use for spirit. When you say Holy Spirit, ruach hachodesh, we're saying thus set apart wind. Isn't it interesting that in the book of Acts, when they were baptized by the Holy Spirit, they heard a rushing wind. Well, the word for spirit is wind, ruach. Just remember that. So verse 2 again. A man will be as a hiding place from the wind and a cover from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. The eyes of those who see will not be dim, and the ears of those who hear will listen. Ooh, I pray for eyes to see and ears to hear for all of us. Listen. This is about the people we're sharing with. Also, the heart of the rash. They're like quick to presume things or be angry or whatever, will understand knowledge. And the tongue of the stammerers, this is those who are not speaking according to Torah, will be ready to speak plainly. Remember we just talked about those who erred and fought, they'll come to understanding? Here again is more hope. The foolish person will no longer be called generous, nor the miser said to be bountiful. So no longer is evil going to be good and good evil. For the foolish person will speak foolishness. So those who speak against the law, it's going to be shown they're foolish. And his heart will work iniquity. Iniquity is sin. Iniquity is transgression of the law. So the foolish person will speak foolishness, and his heart will work iniquity to practice ungodliness. So if God gave the law, godliness would be equated to obeying the law. Ungodliness is rebelling, just like Satan. To utter error against Yahweh, to keep the hungry unsatisfied. That's all those pastors. All of you that just came out of the church systems, you are starving, aren't you? You have been starving and not fed. They kept you unsatisfied and you were hungry. But all they fed you was a fluffy message with a whole bunch of chirping like birds and squawking like monkeys up from the chandeliers, pretending that was some spirit of God working through you. And you didn't get nothing fed. You just had a feel-good moment in the back seat for a moment. And nothing grew in you. No righteousness grew. You wanted him and you were left hungry and wanting. Those are the foolish. And he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. Also, the schemes of the schemer are evil. He devises wicked plans to destroy the poor with lying words. All of you who are poor and humble, every single person left in those churches that are really poor, like the people who really just want the truth of God, but they don't have the wisdom and the benefit of the knowledge of understanding the truth of God yet, they're being destroyed by those lying pastors. They are being destroyed by the false prophets. They're being destroyed. Judaism is destroying people. Christianity is destroying people. Religion destroys God's people. We need to get back to just the truth of God. So he destroys the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaks justice. So the needy, some of you were probably speaking things. Why aren't we keeping the Sabbath? Why are we doing pagan holidays? I've heard those stories, and they destroy you. They say, oh, you don't have to do that anymore. But a generous man devises generous things, and by generosity he shall stand. Rise up, you women who are at ease. Hear my voice, you complacent daughters. Give ear to my speech. In a year, in some days, you will be troubled, you complacent women. So at the time of this prophecy, this was right before there was going to be trouble coming from both Assyria. Yeah, this was before the Assyrian army came against the tribes of Israel. So in a year and some days you will be troubled, you complacent women, for the vintage will fail, the gathering will not come. Tremble, you women who are at ease. Be troubled, you complacent ones. Strip yourselves, make yourselves bare, and gird sackcloth on your waists. People shall mourn upon their breasts for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. They're going to be mourning because the plentifulness is going to be taken away. There's going to be no harvest, no vineyard. On the land of my people will come up thorns and briars, yes, on all the happy homes in the joyous city, because the palaces will be forsaken, the bustling city will be deserted. The forts and towers will become lairs forever. A joy of wild donkeys, a pasture of flocks. There's going to be destruction. People are going to leave it, and the animals are moving in. Until, what's going to happen? So this punishment happens, this judgment happens where there's thorns and briars and all this stuff. Until what? Until the wind, the ruach, the Spirit is poured upon us from on high, and the wilderness becomes a fruitful field, and the fruitful field is counted as a forest. On the Feast of Pentecost, the Holy Wind came upon God's people, and that was the beginning of the restoration of the 10 northern tribes of Israel coming back. You want proof? Look at the book of James and look at the book of Peter. They both say, one of them says, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and the other letter is addressed to those of the dispersion. The book of John talks about bringing the children back. All through the scripture talks about it. They were the first of the wheat harvest. Remember, they were the first fruits of the returning of God's children. You and me. We are the fullness. This is the end of the harvest. We are right now. So the wheat began the first of the wheat harvest was brought to the temple at the Feast of Pentecost. It's called Shavuot in Hebrew. The end harvest is called the ingathering. The harvest of ingathering is the Feast of Tabernacles. That's what we are. God, we have now burgeoned. We're ready to be harvested. And the tare, those who stay in the pagan Babylonian religious systems, are being separated from the wheat, those of you who have come out of the systems. And God is gathering you and harvesting you into his barns. Then justice, verse 15, until the Spirit is poured out upon us from on high, and the wilderness becomes a fruitful field, and the fruitful field is counted as a forest. 16. Then justice will dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness remain in the fruitful field. So then we're going to have good things. I love this. The work of righteousness. So if you do righteousness, if you obey God's laws, do you know you're going to have peace? You want to know why? Because you don't need a wooden spoon spanking. God ain't coming after you to spank you if you obey him. You are not under the law, which means being under arrest. You're not under punishment. I'm not under arrest in America if I drive the speed limit. I'm not under arrest in America if I obey the rules, right? I only get arrested and put under arrest when I break the rules, like if I steal, rob, murder. If you do righteousness, you will have peace. The work of righteousness will be peace. And the effect of righteousness, quietness and assurance forever. If you're obeying God, you have assurance of his blessing upon you. Even if you go through hard times, you just know that you're obeying him, you love him, and he's going to spare you and save you eventually. Even if it's just your soul. Your flesh might be destroyed, but they can't destroy your soul. My people will dwell in a peaceful habitation. This is talking about Ezekiel 47. Please go read Ezekiel 47 when we have the return to the land of Israel. In secure dwellings and in quiet resting places. Though hail comes down on the forest and the city is brought low in humiliation. This is you, listen. Blessed are you who sow beside all waters, who send out freely the feet of the ox and the donkey. You preach, you speak the gospel, you preach the word of God everywhere. And if you don't know what the gospel is, I just did an impromptu teaching on that the other night. So, Thomas, make your videos. Tara, make your posts. Carissa, make those posts. Christina, get your posts out there. Romaine, Tristan, get your posts out there. Get those stories out there. Every one of you. Jesse, put your posts out there. And every single one of you. So, just cast your seed. I'm a farmer. I just sowed a whole bunch of seeds yesterday. Sow them. Go everywhere. Let them play. Some of them are going to take root. Everywhere you go, grocery store, parks, Home Depot, airports, wherever you are, cast the word of God. Share, 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 share. Exercise class where you look like a really weird girl doing stair steps, sow the wind. If you have to go, who knows where. Okay, I'm sorry, I got a little sweated and then chilled here. Any questions so far about what we're reading? So blessed are you if you sow by all waters. I always think like I talk a lot, not shy. I always think if I don't get blessed for anything else, I'll at least be get blessed for sowing, because I'm sowing. I'm constantly throwing seed out there everywhere around. That's awesome. That's all you can talk about. Okay. Love this book. I love the book of Isaiah too. The book of Isaiah is my favorite book in the whole Bible. Welding class. Isn't the word gospel actually pagan, meaning God spell? Isn't Basara? Well, so, right. It's they say Basar, Basar. Basar is the root in Hebrew. And it's good tidings. What the Greek? I just forgot the Greek word. It doesn't matter. Eugalion. I don't speak Greek. I speak Hebrew. Eugalio, something like that. So it just means the good news, the good tidings. Drive them crazy, Carissa. Drive them crazy. Welders are more receptive than I thought. That's awesome, Kimberly. Good job, sweetie. I'm shy and it's hard to speak, but he moves. Awesome, Randy. I'm not shy. Did you tell? And it's not hard for me to speak. I've just never had that problem. Sometimes I think my husband would hope I had that problem. I'm quite certain, because sometimes they look at me, and one time he's like, because I'm like, did you hear me? He's like, Mel, if I listen to you all day, I will do nothing but listen to you. So I just tune you out. So 26 years later. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. I love you all. Okay. You want to go one more chapter? Yep. You got a fish, Angel. We don't have to know it all, but I just, perfect is the enemy of the good. You guys need to be perfectly imperfect. Like, the only perfect one, somebody today was telling me that I wasn't Southern and that I didn't know Southern. I'm like, first of all, she totally misunderstood my tone because it was typing. And I was like, I said, okay, Lord, I'm sorry if that sounded rude. And he's like, well, no, Mel, she's actually being rude to you. And I'm like, okay, well, but still, I don't want it to sound rude. And I'm thinking like, I can't please everybody. I'm going to talk too fast. I'm going to talk too slow. I'm going to talk too much. I'm not going to talk enough. Just do what you can do. Just do the best. Paul sucked at speaking, so did Moses, right? Just do the best. I've been making shirts with, ooh, that's awesome, Raquel. That's awesome. They call me crazy. Yep, we are crazy. We're crazy for Yahweh. Awesome, guys. Okay, so anybody, okay, one more. So I see one more. Awesome, Linda. Yes, definitely I want to go back and listen to this after I post, or watch it after I post it. Jess always wants another one. Tractor trailer driver having scripture on the back doors. That's awesome. That's awesome, Melissa. If anybody, by the way, somebody reached out today for help. If anybody has their set aside money, I don't really like to call, because it's not technically the tithe. If you need to bless Yahweh and give of him the first of something, reach out to me. I can put you in contact with people. I don't say names. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do any of those posts anymore unless it's urgent. I just keep feeling like, I can't have the page just become that. But just let me know. Some of you have reached out. I've had a number of you say, hey, I need to offer to God because I need to give the 10th somewhere. And so I just put people in contact with people in need, and I stay out of it. Whoop! I don't take your money. Okay, I'm Southern. You sound great. Awesome, Arthur. I lived in the South. I love the South. My sister's in the South. But she said I get told every day, all day, bad things about myself. I'm glad Yeshua loves me, and he told me to speak. So, one of you, though, thank you guys. Thank you for sharing your visions and your dreams with me, though, because they keep me going. One of you had gone to bed asking for the truth of Yahweh, his truth, woke up, saw the videos, and you heard in your words, she's my truth. So that encouraged me, because you have no idea how, like, how discouraging sometimes I feel or how bad about myself I feel. One of you reached out recently and said God spoke in your ear that he was well pleased with me, that you were supposed to be listening to these teachings. I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, because I was feeling like a complete loser that day. Like, Lord, did I mess up? Did I speak this wrong? Do I speak? Because people are coming at me. And those words, like, they don't affect me, but sometimes I'm like, man, I must really suck at this. And then, and so when Yahweh gives you, and one person had a dream that there was this flashy person trying to seduce them, but they were the wrong person. And then there was me, like just normal and not flashy, and they were supposed to go learn from me. And I was like, I'm glad that I look like nothing. I'm glad because I am nothing. But those things encourage me. So please share when you have those dreams and stuff, because it does encourage me. And it's like, okay, I'm not a complete loser. Yahweh loves me. And even if I feel like I'm failing, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying. I am trying. I can't always get all the messages. Don't ever feel bad. Well, Alex, I'm told so many bad things a day. See, the thing is we are spirit. We can speak life or death. So I get so many negatives a day, like hundreds. Like, you should see what people write to me and tell me. Some of them, you see some of the stuff on the post. And sometimes I'm like, okay, Lord, maybe I should just go back to just tending my cows and getting a few more sheep and, do my chickens. And he's like, no. He's like, I told you. Anyway. Well, thank you, Carissa. Yeah, there are days. Okay. So Francis, okay, let me write that down. Francis, I'll send you a message later. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys, let's go one more chapter. Let's go. Okay. I've never stopped in 24 years, Alex. Now, it was hard for God. I have to be honest. It was hard for me to get on social media. Many of you know that I do not like the camera on myself. I'm very self-conscious about how I look. I always feel so ugly, which I don't care. Please don't give me those weird, I'm not doing this for fishing for compliments. I'm very, I don't like being on camera. I mean it. And I did not do YouTube channels. People have asked me for years to make YouTube videos. I'm like, nope, I ain't doing it. Father God made me. So I'm just like, okay, Yahweh, I'm doing it. So you guys do the same thing. Get out there. We're all messy. We're all just trying, okay? I thank the Lord for all of you. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Kimberly? Okay. Well, I don't, Angel, but thank you. I am a hippie sister with you. Okay, I'm thankful for all of you. I just love Yahweh. That's all I want people to see in me. Nothing else. Let's go to Isaiah 33. Hi, Heather. This has actually been a really good study tonight. If you're just joining, you'll want to go back and watch that. Can you send me the link to the video you're referring to being new? Okay, Dominic, it's going to be easier if you send me a message. Send me a private message, because I can't always get through to yours, and sometimes they go to your spam, and then people don't know to look. I do look in my spam. So Dominic Valentine, I'll still write it down. But I don't see these comments later. I don't see most comments on my posts. People think I'm ignoring them. I'm like, nope, I just didn't even see the comment. I have so many comments between Instagram and here. I can't do it. Are you Israel? Okay, I'll send you that link, okay? But it's better if you send me a message first. Yeah, I hate technology. Thank you, guys. I lift you up too. I do. Chapter 33. Let's read. Okay. Woe to those who plunder you, though you have not been plundered. And you who deal... I'm sorry. Reread that. Woe to you who plunder, though you have not been plundered. And you who deal treacherously, though you have not dealt treacherously, though they have not dealt treacherously with you. When you cease plundering, you'll be plundered. When you make an... Sorry for the little bubble in my throat. When you make an end of dealing treacherously, they will deal treacherously with you. Oh, Yahweh, be gracious to us. We have waited for you. And now it says their arm, but some people say our. Be our arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumult, the people shall flee. When you lift yourself up, the nations shall be scattered. Who was lifted up on the stake? That was Yeshua. And your plunder shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar. As the running to and fro of locusts, he shall run upon them. Yahweh is exalted, for he dwells on high. He has filled Zion with justice and righteousness. Isn't that interesting? It says in Isaiah 2 that the law will go forth from Zion when he returns. So what is justice and righteousness? His commandments. Wisdom and knowledge will be the stability of your times. Yeshua is coming back to reign in wisdom and knowledge and the strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Have you ever noticed how those in Christianity don't have any fear of Yahweh? They have no reverence or respect of him at all. They just brazenly do their sinful deeds right in front of his face and fly him the birdie. But his treasure is his fear. Surely their valiant ones shall cry outside. The ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste. The traveling man ceases. He has broken the covenant. He has despised the cities. He regards no man. The earth mourns and languishes. Lebanon is shamed and shriveled. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. And what's that mean, he's broken the covenant? It means that rather than us protect it, our sinful nature brings the judgment upon us, and he stepped back so that punishment, the judgment, the curse of the law could come. The law itself isn't the curse, there were curses within the law. Verse 10. So he steps back, he let the covenant be broken. He's like, okay, I'm not going to protect you right now. I'm going to let you be punished. Chapter 10, or verse 10. Now I will rise, says Yahweh. Now I will be exalted. Now I will lift myself up. So this time of the tribulation, at the end of it, he's coming back to save us and exalt himself. You shall conceive chaff, you shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you, and the people shall be like the burnings of lime. Like thorns cut up, they shall be burned in the fire. Hear, you who are afar off, what I have done, and you who are near, acknowledge my might. This is the battle of Armageddon. This is this end-time battle between Satan and Yahweh. Hasatan, the adversary, and Yahweh. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Sin is transgression of the law. Right? So sinners are breaking the law. The sinners in Zion are afraid because they've been doing naughty. Y'all kind of know when you're doing naughty. You know that feeling like, oh, I just messed up. Fearfulness has seized the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? Remember, he says he's coming to baptize with fire. Okay, so listen. Who among us, we're going to go through this time of fire. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? Who's going to make it? Who's going to make it through? He who walks righteously and speaks uprightly. He who despises the gain of oppressions, who gestures with his hands refusing bribes. What did I say? I'm not taking your money because I'm not going to take a bribe from you to teach you the lie. Don't you dare either. Don't you start your system and take money from people. Who stops his ears from hearing of bloodshed. We do not talk bloodshed against each other. We stop our ears. If somebody starts talking about something negative, we say, no, we're not going to talk about that. And shuts his eyes from seeing evil. We don't watch bad movies. We don't watch perversity. We keep our eyes from evil. That's who's going to make it through the fire. Who will make it through? Who will be able to dwell? Who will be able to dwell even though that fire is devouring us? What's it say? Yahweh's children who he saves, right? The tribulation, he seals 144,000 before the tribulation, 12,000 of each tribe of Israel. And on top of that, there's a great many, too many to count, who comes out. So remember Revelation 12, the woman, the Father has told me, the woman of the 12,000 sealed of each tribe. They're what? They're nourished for time, times, and half a times for 1,260 days. That woman is doing righteousness. That woman is obeying Yahweh. That's you, I hope. Please obey. Please obey. So you can be hidden and nourished. It's not going to be a tea party. It's going to suck, but you will make it through with the Holy Spirit's help. And then those of us, hopefully none of us, but some people who are the great many, too many to count, that are washed through the tribulation. The daughter, it says in Revelation 12, he turns to make war with her offspring, those who also keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Yeshua. Those people will also make it because they will turn to righteousness and learn righteousness. He will dwell, verse 16, he will dwell on high. His place of defense will be the fortress of rocks. Bread will be given him, his water will be sure. Ooh, does that not just match what I told you from Revelation? I didn't even read that verse yet. I've read it 1,000 times, but I didn't even remember that was a verse coming. Revelation 12, the woman is hidden in the wilderness and nourished. These people, during this time of fire, have bread and water. Sounds pretty similar to me, huh? Remember, those in Judaism say that the book of Revelation is stolen from the book of Isaiah and Zechariah and Ezekiel and Daniel. That's because it quotes directly. If you knew this prophecy, you would understand what John's talking about. Verse 17, your eyes will see the King, Yeshua, in his beauty. They will see the land that is very far off. Your heart will meditate on terror. Where is the scribe? Where is he who weighs? Where is he who counts the towers? You will not see a fierce people, a people of obscure speech beyond perception, of a stammering tongue that you cannot understand. So he's going to remove the adversary, the foreigners, like those who were coming against, the foreigners came and are going to attack Israel. All the world is going to be around Jerusalem. Look upon, so those people are going to be removed. Sorry, verse 20. Look upon Zion, the city of our appointed feast. Click on that, please, if you have the interlinear with you, and that it should be the word Moedim. Yep, it is. It's the word of Moedim. You know what that word means? Okay, look upon Zion, the city of our Moedim. That means appointments. That's what the Feast of Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of First Fruits, Shavuot, Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur, Yom HaKippurim, and Sukkot. Those are labeled Moedim in Leviticus 23. The word Moed in Hebrew means appointment. Yeshua has appointments with his people. He had an appointment to die at Passover, an appointment to rise from the dead on Feast of First Fruits, an appointment to give us the Holy Spirit on Shavuot, an appointment to return at the Feast of Trumpets, which is the only holiday we never know the day or the hour of in advance, an appointment to judge the world at Yom Kippur, and an appointment to reign and begin his millennial reign on Feast of Sukkot. So look upon Zion, the city of our appointed feast. This is after the tribulation. Your eyes will see Yerushalayim, a quiet home, a tabernacle that will not be taken down. Not one of its stakes will ever be removed, nor will any of its cords be broken. But there, the majestic Yahweh will be for us. Please go read Ezekiel 40 to the end. It's specifically chapter 45 here. A place of broad rivers and streams, in which no galley with oars will sail, nor majestic ships pass by. For Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king. He will save us. Guess what that word lawgiver is there? Let's look at it. Well, it doesn't say Torah. I was going to say, this one is chakak, which means to cut out, decree, inscribe, govern, rule. Okay. I thought I was going to say Torah there, but it didn't. So Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king. He will save us. Your tackle is loosed. They could not strengthen their mast. They could not spread the sail. Then the prey of great plunder is divided. The lame take the prey, and the inhabitants will not say, I am sick. We won't have sickness anymore when we live in Zion, when Yeshua comes back. The people who dwell in it will be forgiven their iniquity. So, in order to be forgiven, we had to be transgressing. And in order to be transgressing, we had to be breaking the law. And in order for us to be breaking the law still had to exist. The curse isn't taken yet. Have you ever noticed that people still die? Because they always say, oh, the curse is gone. Jesus took the curse. Then how come people still die? Because that was the very first curse put upon humans. Death. The tribulation is the punishment of us. And it's the culmination of the punishment of the most wicked humans that have ever been created. Like our judgment has been increasing, and the wickedness in the world has been increasing, so that God can justly execute his judgment upon the world. Those of us who are his are repenting, and in that quietness, we're turning back to him so that we have shalom. We're turning back to him so that we have the protection and the peace. We're turning back to him. There's no pre-trib rapture, but we're turning back to him so that he protects us through this. We keep our eyes on him. We remind ourselves of his promises. We say, we know, Daddy, we deserve this. What did Daniel do when he was taken captive with the rest of the people? He was still righteous. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were righteous. They accepted the punishment. They said, Father, we look to you. We stay faithful to you. They risked the flames. They were thrown in the fire. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel was thrown in the lion's den. They didn't get a tea party while the rest of Israel got punished. The righteous and the wicked were punished together. The righteous kept a good attitude. The righteous kept faithful. The righteous understood that the righteous God executed judgment in righteousness, and that we as humans deserve what we got. And what did they say? What did Nehemiah say? What did Ezra say? Well, Nehemiah, and what did Daniel say? Oh, Father, our fathers have sinned. We have been wicked. We have been wicked. We have transgressed your laws and your covenants. Please forgive us. You are just and righteous and holy to afflict us the way you have. Your judgments were righteous and good, and they were right because we have done wickedness, but you have done right. And we better be ready to be like them. Let's be like Daniel. Let's be like Nehemiah. And let's say, to us belong shame of face, to you belong glory. We have messed up. We accept our punishment. We wait for your salvation, O Yahweh Elohim. We wait for you. We're not running to Egypt. We're not running to Babylon. We are coming to you, Father. We know that this punishment period is coming. We know we're going to endure the fire, but we will wait for you. Does that make sense? Did you guys follow that? I hope so. You got it only by faith and truth. Okay. Thank you all for keeping me in prayers. I appreciate it. Today, the oppression was really hard. I woke up and I could barely even function. But Yahweh always tells me, Satan's trying to stop you, Mel. The enemy's coming against you. And I have to say, like, I'm on the hit list of all of your families because they think I'm like one of the children reached out to one of you and said, how much do you have to pay her? And they're like, we don't pay her anything. Oh. No, I'm not a cult leader. If only I had the amount of power some of these people think I have over people, then everybody would just obey God and be in perfect harmony and love him and like would never be selfish or prideful or rude. Okay. Do you guys want to do one more, or are you getting tired? Can you see my eyes that are getting tired? I think I can make it one more if you need, though. We want to feed the babies. Remember that dream this week that was given that the babies were in the nursery and there's not enough like caretakers to feed them. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, I will do it. I promise you I will do it. And I've been trying to do so many messages with you and teachings, and we did the impromptu one. One more. It's the Holy Spirit that speaks. You can't deny what God spoke. You got it. Keep going. Okay, one more. These eyes can hold them. You got the toothpicks for me in my eyes? Let's go. So by the way, guys, just take your raw milk. I put like 2 giant tablespoons of turmeric in because I love turmeric, and 2 giant tablespoons of cacao powder. It's not Keiko for those of you who are health food illiterate. Cacao. I had said, oh, really? Tristan, send me the dream. Tristan, I want to hear your dream. Okay. Come near, you nations, to hear, and heed, you people, that the earth hear and all that is in it, the world and all things that come forth from it. For the indignation, the judge of the anger, he's indignant, of Yahweh is against all nations. Guess what? America doesn't escape that. America's probably like, they're going to get the biggest spanking. And his fury against all their armies, he has utterly destroyed them. He has given them over to the slaughter. Also, their slain shall be thrown out. Their stench shall rise from their corpses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. All the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled up like a scroll. That's not literal. This is very symbolic, just like it's talking. Everything else we've been pointing out that's very metaphoric. All their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falls from the vine and as the fruit falling from a fig tree. For my sword will be bathed in heaven. Indeed, it shall come down on Edom and on the people of my curse for judgment. Israel is blessed. Why is Edom cursed? They despise their birthright. Let's pause for a minute. If you claim that you are God's child, yet you refuse to obey his commandments and therefore put yourself in the curses, if you despise your birthright to become a priest in the kingdom of God, to be one of his children, and you say, nope, I'm only a Gentile, I don't have to obey the law. If you despise your birthright for your pork, your piggy bacon for breakfast, and your bacon cheeseburger for lunch, if you despise your birthright like Esau did for a bowl of lentil soup, God hates you. Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Now, does he hate us in the sense where he wants us to die and eternally? No. He wants to save us, but he loathes that behavior. So those people who say, only the law is only for the Jews, we don't have to do it, it's not for us. They're despising their birthright, because it says in the book of Corinthians, they become, Corinthians and Romans, they are to be, Romans 11 in specific, but they are grafted into the commonwealth of Israel. They become part of the children of God. And Isaiah 56 says, to those Gentiles, you have a portion even greater than that of sons or daughters. Ezekiel 47 says, if you are a Gentile and you want to serve God, you get a portion in the land which you choose to sojourn. Whichever tribe you want to be in, you get that when Yeshua comes back. So if you reject the very covenant God made with you to be his child, and the very attempt he made for you to be his, he hates that. And that's sadly what these Christians are inadvertently doing when they reject his Torah, when they reject clinging to his covenant. Okay, just want to say, verse 6, this is really gruesome punishment coming from God. My nose itches. Remember, it says he's going to make men more rare than the gold of Ophir. We read that and remember, all of these teachings of Isaiah are on YouTube. I record them, download them, and then paste them there, and they're also under the videos here, and they're labeled also under the video section of my page. But he's going to make men more rare than the gold of Ophir. Like, there's going to be a lot of dead people. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is overflowing with fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh has a sacrifice in Bozrah, in a great slaughter in the land of Edom. Edom, the Esau people, they're just to the west of Israel. Edom was, there was Jacob and Esau, the two brothers, and they are in present day just in that area of Jordan. Okay. The wild ox shall come down with them, and the young bulls with the mighty bulls. Their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust saturated with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, the year of recompense for the cause of Zion. Not the cause of Florida, not the cause of Utah, not the cause of Wyoming, not the cause of Canada, not the cause of any other place than Zion. Yahweh is zealous for Zion, like he says in Zechariah. Its streams shall be turned into pitch, and its dust into brimstone. Its land shall become burning pitch. Like Sodom and Gomorrah. And its dust into brimstone. I just read that. Its land shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night or day. Its smoke shall ascend forever. From generation to generation, it shall lie waste. Well, that hasn't happened yet. We know it's coming. No one shall pass through it forever and ever, but the pelican and the porcupine shall possess it. Also the owl and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out over it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call its nobles to the kingdom, but none of them shall be there, and all its princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in its palaces, nettles and brambles in its fortresses. It shall be a habitation of jackals, a courtyard for ostriches. So the animals are going to take this over. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the jackals, and the wild goat shall bleat to its companion. Also the night creature shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. There the arrow snake shall make her nest and lay eggs, and hatch and gather them under her shadow. There also shall the hawks be gathered, every one with her mate. Search from the book of Yahweh, and see, and read. Not one of these shall fail. Not one shall lack her mate, for my mouth has commanded it, and his spirit, his wind, has gathered them. He has cast the lot for them, and his hand has divided it among them with a measuring line. They shall possess it forever, from generation to generation. They shall dwell in it. Okay, I can't read anymore because I'm exhausted. But what we see is the tribulation is coming. Yahweh is going to pay the earth back vengeance for all they have done by transgressing his law. God's not coming to judge the world for obeying him. He didn't kick Satan out of heaven for obeying him. Satan got kicked out, and it's going to be cast down here soon again, or maybe has, because of disobedience. Okay, and remember what we just talked about a little, the last chapter, we talked about it all night, that the pathway to hell is not paved with obedience to God's commandments. It's just not. The pathway to hell is not paved with obedience to God's commandments. Satan broke God's laws, and Satan is not going to be in heaven, even though he believes in Yeshua, because some people have been telling me, if you obey the law, then you are trampling the blood of Christ. If you obey the law, you're trampling the blood of Christ. You don't know him. You're taking him in vain, and you're being lawless, and those are the lawless ones who are going to be cast away from him. See, first of all, lawless means without the law. So obeying God's law can't be without it. And if being lawless and believing in Jesus gets you to heaven, then Satan goes to heaven. Because Satan believes in Jesus. Believe me, he knows the Son of God. He appeared before God to ask to tempt. Like, Satan knows his fate, and Satan knows who God is. He knows the Son of God as well. And so he disobeys God, on purpose. And so, yeah. Don't break God's rules. He died to forgive us for breaking those rules, okay? I was just trying to think of something before I forget it. I don't remember which chapter we were on when I saw that I wanted to make a reel about. Sorry, before I forget. Okay, right there. So Isaiah 33, verse 24. Okay, sorry. Okay, any questions now? Oh, thanks, Melissa. Real. Okay, so would you say Bill Gates might be a tool being used, speaking of man, okay, his wanting to diminish the world's population? Oh, yes, Romaine, Bill Gates is wicked. I'm quite certain he's possessed by Satan or some demon. The biggest hurdle I feel people have a hard time with is not understanding what under the law means. Carissa, that's definitely. See, being under the law means you're being judged by it because you broke it. Satan wants the throne. You got it, Shauna. If they're refusing the law, I think God has turned them. You're right. So Tammy says, if they're refusing the law, I think God has turned them over to the decrees of their desires of their heart, which we read earlier. Was that chapter 29? I am told daily that Christ took care of it all. He did not. Jesus didn't die on the cross so you could have a ham sandwich, people. Jesus didn't die on the cross so you could have a ham sandwich. He didn't say, dude, you don't know what you've been missing. Go get that porky pork. Ooh, you've been missing it, girlfriend. Right? Yeshua died on the cross to pay the penalty for when you did eat that pork. Like Hosea says, you were going to be sent to the nations. And one of the curses put upon the 10 northern tribes of Israel is that they were going to eat unclean things, Hosea 9:3. You're going to go to the Gentile nations again, and you're going to eat unclean. That was a punishment because guess what? When God blinds you, you bring punishments on yourself because you keep doing the sin. Oh, I'm just sinning. I'm okay with God. And you're just blind. You can't even see that you're going, he's just, see, I'm letting you do this so I can just spank you. If Trump wins the presidency, what will that mean? Oh, the red heifer. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Okay, so the red heifers. We do know that there's red heifers used, was it in the book of Numbers? Jess, where's that scripture? Jess Young, are you still on here? She probably is. Let me just type it in here first really fast so I can find all the scriptures. Let's just look together. Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. Was that word not in there? What? Am I spelling heifers wrong? think I might have. How could I spell heifers wrong? Okay, so go to Numbers 19, verse 2. Let's go to Numbers 19. Let's just go to Numbers. Why did I say verse 2? So in Numbers 19, it says, Now Yahweh spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which Yahweh has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel that they bring you a red heifer without blemish, in which there is no defect, and on which a yoke has never come. You shall give it to Eleazar the priest, that he may take it outside the camp, and it shall be slaughtered before him. Yeshua was killed outside the camp, right? That's so prophetic. Yeshua was our sacrifice that was killed outside of the camp. None of these animal sacrifices saved us, which is why when he comes back and we have these offerings, it's because it didn't save us in the first place. It was to teach us. Okay, so took it outside the camp and slaughtered, and Eleazar the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger and sprinkle some of its blood 7 times directly in front of the tabernacle meeting. Then the heifer shall be burned in his sight, its hide, its flesh, its blood, and its offal shall be burned. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet and cast them into the midst of the fire, burning the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, he shall bathe in water, and afterward he shall come into the camp. The priest shall be unclean until evening, and the one who burns it shall wash his clothes in water, bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Then a man who is clean shall, listen, then a man who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer and store them outside the camp in a clean place, and they shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for the water of purification. It is for purifying from sins. So in order to purify the altar, in order to purify any of the utensils, in order to purify the temple itself, you must have the red heifer's ashes in the water of purification to purify it. Okay, so, and the one who gathers the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclothed till evening. It should be a statute forever to the children of Israel. Okay, that's basically the end of it. So, with the red heifers, what they're doing is they are trying to, they're going to sacrifice them sometime between now and April 22nd. And they are going to gather the ashes and make the water of purification. Okay? So, Christy, we cannot sacrifice until we have a third temple. Please read Ezekiel 45. That king there offering the sacrifices in the millennial reign is Yeshua. Read Ezekiel 45, specifically in verses 18 to the end. So, the water of purification is needed for the priests, for the lavers, for the implements. Okay, and what did Jess say? That comes from when the people weren't washing their hands after being at the market. She's talking about something else. Sorry, Jess was on a different verse. Thank you, Katie and Jess, for taking care of that. But somebody must have asked about Mark 7 and Matthew 15. Yeshua did not say that you can eat pig and people. Foods, he says, were not defiled. Please read Matthew 15 and Mark 7 together, because Mark 7 says the disciples of the Pharisees came to him and Sadducees said, Why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders, not the commandment of God, and eat with unwashed hands? For they had a rule in the Talmud. Talmud wasn't codified yet, but it went into the Talmud where they would eat they would not eat with unwashed hands lest it be defiled. And Yeshua's like, my disciples don't eat with washed hands because they don't have to wash their hands. That's not a commandment of God. Stop teaching, he says. Stop setting aside the commandments of God to hold your tradition bends. Knock it off. And then in Matthew 15, he sums it all up and says, eating with unwashed hands doesn't defile food. And food is never humans or poop or cyanide or pig. Food was defined in Leviticus 11 and Deuteronomy 14. So my unwashed hands aren't going to defile food. Food. Ochel is the word for food. Basar is the word for flesh. Two different things. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you, guys. I have germ issues. Yep, you got it. Me too. The Jews are saying they have the priests and altar ready. They do. Yesenia. So, Yeshua came against the Pharisees and Sadducees, but he still understood. He said, they sit in the seat of Moses, do as they say, not as they do. They are, like Jews, we kept our identity. The Jews offended less than Ephraim. We're going to have a third temple, not built for the Antichrist. It's built for Messiah, but it's going to be defiled it's built for Yahweh, it's going to be defiled by the Antichrist and the Gentiles for 42 months. It says then in Ezekiel, Yeshua will cleanse it, and then he will reign in that temple. Exactly, Carissa, good job. Okay, any other questions I'm missing? I am so sorry for this phlegm. I got that face full of hay. I mean, you guys, I came in 13 minutes before we started this whole thing, so I was like, actually 11 minutes. So I was running. Question, I Pesach Eve on April, okay, so, Angel, we addressed that earlier, but she's asking, why is Passover on the calendar April 22nd? Judaism did a calendar projection hundreds of years ago for the ease of people during the dispersion, trying to get everybody on the same calendar, but they're neglecting the biblical command to wait for the Abib, barley, and the new moon sighting. So April 22nd was just a projected date, and even if you went by the new moon sighting, most chances are it wouldn't have been on the 22nd, but rather the 23rd, because the Bible tells us the month begins at the new moon sighting. Judaism doesn't go by any of that. They just made a projected calendar. They don't want to walk by faith. They just, let's just make a checklist and it's done. Didn't commit adultery, tick, check. Yeah, but you lusted for that person. It's the same thing with the calendar. You got to be watching and waiting. The only holiday we don't know the day or the hour of is the Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets. That's when Yeshua returns. We have to be watching and waiting. I can't say he's going to come back on Thursday at 7 p.m. I have to wait till I see the new moon sighting, which is what Zechariah 14 is a prophecy of. So I am not saying God's going to judge you or anything if you do the Passover on April 22nd, but technically by the Abib barley harvest, we had enough barley in the stage of Abib on March 11th. It looks like, and I mean, I'm not living there. I'm going off hearsay and what people's reports are showing me. I saw some videos. I watched actually quite a few videos. And then the new moon sighting on March 11th. So we are in the middle of Passover week right now, those of us who are following the Abib barley calendar. So it's just, I think in the dispersion we have to show each other grace, and I believe God shows us grace. I appreciate you reaching out. Oh, I know, can you tell how tired I am? Why does it say the 14th of the first month? Because that's the 14th of Abib. The first month is Abib. If you read chapters 12 and 13 in Exodus there. Abib is the word for stage of barley ripeness, and Yahweh says, this shall be the first of your months. Okay, this is not Nisan. Nisan was Judaism. People get confused by that, I get that. But Abib is the first month of the biblical year. The Passover is eaten at the end of the 14th day of Abib, which on our Gregorian calendar this year happened to fall on the 25th, March 25th. Oh gosh, no, Dana, I'm not great. Angel Wealth. Okay, so thank you. How long does the Feast of First Fruits last? 1 day. The Feast of First Fruits lasts from this coming week. It'll be from Saturday sunset to Sunday sunset. Falls on the same day as the Easter. I'll call it Easter. 99% of the years that I've been doing this, this is my 23rd Passover. 99% of the years, it always falls on the same day. See, what they did is the pagan Gentile church took the Feast of Tammuz and Easter and literally moved the holiday to coincide with Passover to make a Catholic, which Catholic means universal holiday, where everybody got confused. Oh, let's just all do it together. They kind of blended it in the pot. He says that he will come back in a couple of days. No. I might have confused you with something I said, Dana. We know that we're going to have a 7-year tribulation, and he comes back at the end of the tribulation. We know that he arrives, comes back at the Feast of Trumpets, which is the only holiday we don't know the day or the hour of, because we have to see the visible new moon sighting. It says we're going to be counting 1,260 days, 1,290 days, 1,335 days. We talked about that before. The 1,260 days ends up in the 5th month of the year. 1,290 days gets us right to Elul first, and then the 1,335 days ends up right at the Feast of Tabernacles. It's pretty cool. Yeah, 2,000 days is 2,000 years. 2,000 days on earth is a couple days in heaven. Oh, okay. Yeah, 1,000 days is like, a day is like 1,000 years to God. Yeah, exactly. Did I say that wrong? 1,000 years is like a day to God, right? And that's why every period of 1,000 years is 1 day. And that's the whole prophecy. And thank you, Heather, for helping my mush-tired brain. How do you celebrate first fruits? Well, if we're in the land of Israel, and please go read this about this in the book of Numbers and Leviticus 23, we would take the first of our barley harvest to the temple. That's why you have to have enough barley in the stage of Abib where you could grab an omer, and take it to the temple. The first, before you ate any of it, you had to take it to the temple. So we know it has to be early in the season because you had to take it to the temple, give it to the priest, and then you could eat. It says after you gave your portion to God, then you could eat. That's how you have to know. That's why you have to go off the Abib barley harvest. We're not in Israel. We don't have the temple. Can't really do it. I've heard it would be outside of Abib by then. Right, Jess. So if we wait a whole nother month, it's not going to be in the stage of Abib, and so much of that is going to be shattered. Here's the thing. You need to start eating the grains that God gave you. Why would you wait a whole nother month to start eating it? Now, again, I don't want to condemn or judge anybody. It's so confusing and back. I get it. We're learning as we come back. So then we can't do first fruits. Not really. There's nothing you can do. I mean, unless you want to go find some Abib barley in your field and go to, but there's no temple, right? There's no temple. Definitely remember what Yeshua did that day. But honestly, it's not a rest day. It doesn't say not to work on that day. We're told not to work on the first day of the unleavened bread feast and the last day of the unleavened bread feast. We're told not to work on Shavuot, Feast of Trumpets, Yom Kippur, and the first and last days of Feast of Tabernacles. But we're not told not to work on Passover or not to work on Feast of First Fruits. Yes. Yep. But it doesn't say, it wasn't a no work day. Yeshua rose from the dead on that day. Like he did something on that day. It wasn't a Sabbath rest. After the Sabbath rest, they went to the temple. They rested on the weekly Sabbath. Then they went to the tomb and he was risen. There wasn't a no work day. We can see that even right in the disciples' actions and the women's actions. They could work on that day. Are you one of the 100%? Well, Austin, I don't know, but what I do know is that in 2001, the Father began touching my forehead and saying I was sealed. In 2001, he began telling me I was a Levite. In 2001, he began, every single time I would close my eyes, and I still do it a lot. We'll be praying on here. I'll close my eyes and boom, his hand just comes on my head. Because I do sigh over the abominations of Israel, like Ezekiel says, those who are sealed. So I can't guarantee it, but I definitely know there's some seal on me. Hope it's the right seal. And I feel his hand on my head, and it was 2001, I was like 25, and I remember being like, what is happening? And then I found out from my grandma knew our heritage. She was called a dirty little Jew. My Aunt Marie was like, well, of course we're Jewish. Don't you know we're Levites? The last name is Cohen. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything. I was in a very happy, oblivious, dumb and happy bubble of life. I had no idea what it meant to be Jewish. I didn't know. My dad said, yeah, they always talked about us being Jewish. I'm like, I didn't know. My mom's family was the Jewish, for sure. Okay, thank you guys. Sorry, my nose is starting to itch down here. It's like, I don't know why. Okay, guys, you can see these eyes are closing. Are there any other important questions? If not, or if so, you can also message me privately and I'll just get to them tomorrow. I don't think I can see tonight anymore. I'm so tired. But tomorrow night is the Zoom, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you don't have the Zoom link, let me know. You can message me privately. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Zoom. I love it because you all get to talk. It's not just me at you. It's nice. And tomorrow night, and then Saturday morning, 10 a.m., now, I do have to have a caveat with all this because that guy is on his way and I don't know how that's going to affect my day because we may need to fellowship with him. So I'll keep everybody posted if anything changes. Good night. I love you all. Are the trumpets sounding each bowl? We definitely have something's happening, right? Things are happening. I believe some of the seals have been open. I believe a lot of the things have been happening already. Okay. I will post this video probably tomorrow. I'll try to remember. And then our Zoom, I'll try to post tomorrow as well. I love you all. I got to get up and milk cows in the morning, so I better get to sleep. I love you all so night. I love you all so very much. Yahweh bless you, bless you, bless you. Have a good night. And I will see you tomorrow night, hopefully. If anything changes because we ended up just in deep conversation with this gentleman or something has to change, I'll try to let you know. But I can probably just have that man and my husband talk, and then I could still do the Zoom. So, love you guys.